Welcome to Self-Hired's ThinkSpace. I'm your host, your curator, the guy you get to hang out with all the time. My name is Joss Biggins. I am a local wealth management guy in the investment industry. I'm also a basketball trainer and coach, and just a young guy like you trying to figure it out and having that curiosity. I'm here in a beautiful space provided by Self-Hired, and if you don't know Self-Hired, you should definitely check them out. They are a lifestyle production company, clothing line, however you want to frame it. And they're local out here in Vancouver, BC, British Columbia. And so big shout outs to them for putting this all together. I am here with somebody who I respect a lot. And even though we're in the same fields, and even though we're peers, you know, this guy's a mentor to me in a way, and I look up to him. I'm here with Rashaun Broadus from BYU, from Lithuania, from Hawaii. And Rashaun has had what I would call an illustrious career, and something that basketball players everywhere can look up to in terms of the longevity of his career, how he's been a professional, how he's taken the long road, and how he hasn't settled. And so we're welcome here to ThinkSpace with Rashaun Broadus as we welcome him to Vancouver with his new pro prep basketball training system, academy, organization. So welcome, Rashaun. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. It's good to have you. So first and foremost, welcome to Vancouver. I know you're new. I know it's a new space for you. How are you finding it so far?
Great. The weather's beautiful. The Vancouver's beautiful, and my wife's back home, so everything's good.
So how'd you find Vancouver out of all places in the world? You're not from here at all. Like, how'd you stumble upon here?
Well, me and my wife were thinking about either living in Calgary or Vancouver, and we're juggling which place would be better for us. So, in Vancouver, with my wife being from here, born and raised, we thought this would be the better fit for what we're trying to do with our future. And since being here, it's definitely been the right choice.
It's not a bad place. I'll say that. It's not a bad place. I'm not from here either, so I've definitely settled in as well. So you said your wife came here, is from here?
She's from here, born and raised in Richmond.
Richmond, BC. Beautiful place as well. So you just retired. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So when we say just retired, we're talking a year, 3 years, 5 years. What's just retired?
I'm 3 months in.
3 months into retirement. Are you getting that anxiousness yet? Are you like trying to touch a basketball and go out there and play in these any and everywhere yet? Or are you still, has it hit you yet?
Well, it has hit me. It hit me when my retirement video came out, and I have it on my Instagram and Facebook, and the media back home in Hawaii did a nice story on me. And it was amazing. So I was really appreciative of that. And that's when it really hit me, when everybody is writing me, notes and, giving me nice messages about my career and following me all over the years. And that's when it kind of hit me. But right now, with it still being an off season and the new season hasn't started up yet, but I'm starting to see friends of mine and old teammates, everybody signing in here and there. Right. There's people still training, and normally around this time I'm still training myself, trying to gear up for the next season. Right. And wondering where I'm going to be playing, whatever contract that I'm getting, and
where you have to move, get the car, get the wife, and all that,
packing my bags and everything like that. And so that's what's different for me right now, and I'm still trying to find my new norm in my life that I'm living right now, which is fun. It's a new grind for me, and I'm enjoying it. But I think once the season is coming around, I think that's when I'll start feeling a little bit of an itch and wanting to play a little bit more. But I'll probably just end up going to some men's league or something.
So when would you normally? I mean, this is contract season, obviously. So for everyone that doesn't know basketball, so to speak, this is the. I mean, would you say maybe early August, July, June, that's when people really sign these contracts and figuring out where they're going to go. Because, I mean, it's not like the NBA where a lot of these pro guys overseas are not signing. I mean, they're certainly not signing, LeBron contracts out here, but they're not signing, 5-year deals, so to speak, right? So what does a typical contract look like for you? Or when this time of season comes around, this summer season comes around, is it always like, okay, where am I going next? Or is there some stability in the teams you've had?
Well, it all depends. Like, there's certain countries for me where I always have offers from. Like every year, I always have an offer from France, Lithuania, and Poland, and then there's always a couple other countries that are just mixed in there. And the agency that I'm with Octagon, it's top 5 agency in the world. Like Steph Curry, Greek Freak, You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
A couple names just to throw in there. They're all signed underneath the Octagon umbrella, right?
Oh, wow.
And even like, what's his name from Oklahoma?
Trae Young.
Trae Young. He just signed with Octagon. So that's my agency. And my agent is Saulis Vitkauskas, who he's the number one Baltic representative for all the Baltic countries. So when it comes to playing in those countries, I pretty much have a job anywhere.
That's your guy.
That's my area, you know what I mean? And that's where I spent my whole career of my 11 years pretty much, except for when I went to Germany. But for people well, for me, I've only had 2 years where I played with the same club. You know, it was a 1+1 type of deal. But most people in Europe, if they're signing for multiple years, it's all the top clubs in all of Europe, like EuroLeague clubs, Euro Cup teams.
Yeah, Madrid, all that. Yeah.
Real Madrid, Barcelona, FS Pilsen, you know what I mean? Moscow, you know the teams, right? CSKA.
For sure.
So I mean, those type of clubs, they sign multiple years, multiple $1 million, contracts, and then with your typical player like me, guys like me will sign 1-year deals. And then it'll just be all off of how you produce and how you perform over the year. If a team will end up signing you midway through the season or after the season finishes, they'll ask you right away.
Right. So for listeners that don't know, what do you mean when you say 1+1 contracts?
They want you for 2 years, but it really depends on how you play in that first year. Like so with after the first year, you get, let's say, $10. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and then if you play well, they're going to double your contract for sure.
Give you $20.
They're going to give you $20.
You can get that fries and soda, baby. That's what it's all about.
Tax free though.
Easy money. I like it. Okay, so you're always out there. You if you don't produce after that first year, they're not getting that +1.
Yeah, it's a -1 after that.
Yeah, you're really not coming back. So I mean, this seems like a wild life. I mean, I think a lot of people don't understand these kids or young adults, these college guys that thinking about going pro and want that lifestyle. It's not a glamorous road. I mean, if you're not, if you're not LeBron, if you're not Trae Young, if you're not these guys, like there's a lot of journeymen, or what I like to call them journeymen, players over there in Europe, where really they gotta, maybe like you said, 1 year they're in Denmark, next year they're in Poland, next year, maybe they make it down to the Pro A League in Greece or whatever. It's maybe not a glamorous road, so to speak. I don't know. Would you say?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I seen a video the other week,
right?
And I forget which country this guy was in, but he was a veteran player, and it was right before his game was about to start, and he scanned the whole court with his phone, and he was talking into his phone. He was like, "All right, kids, I play professional ball in this place right here, and this is the court." And he scans real quick. And then he looks back in the camera. He's like, "Did you guys get a good view of the court?" He's like, "Let me go really slow this next time." Then he films the ground first, and then the ground is concrete.
You're kidding.
It's a concrete floor, and it has a team. Both teams are warming up already.
Right.
And then he films it real slow to the concrete, to the court. The rim is kind of falling apart and everything. You know what I mean? Then he goes back. He's like, "For all you kids that think that the professional life is all glitz and glam, you never know where you're gonna end up. You know what I mean? You haven't seen it all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some places like in South America, you're playing in an outdoor court. You know what I mean? It has like a dome
even
with
Spain
no walls.
And these, Northern Africa and all that stuff.
Portugal or something like that.
They play outdoors all the time. Like we're bougie over here. We don't want to play outside. What are you talking about?
Just depends on where you're at.
There's professionals that play outside.
I played in Ukraine one year. Okay. I was in Lavar, and it was a beautiful city. It was over 800,000 people in the city, and I was right dead center in the city center. And it was so crowded that the club didn't want to give us cards because they were afraid about us crashing,
accidents or whatever.
Stuff. Sure. People drive crazy, so they sent the bus around to get us, right? But our gym, it was freezing cold. It's Ukraine, right? Yeah. So I get into the gym, and this is the first day of practice or training camp, and I have on just my basketball shorts and jersey, and like I look at the backboards, and the backboards have like ice on the backboards. We might as well should have played outside. We should have played outside. It was that cold inside the gym.
Damn.
And after that, I wore sweats underneath my shorts every day. I was there for half a season. I got out of there. I left at the Christmas
break. Coach,
break.
it's too cold, man. I'm getting out of here. That's hilarious.
We're playing outside.
Literally, you played outside.
outside.
So you're in all these crazy situations and different playing conditions and different countries around Europe and whatever. And it wasn't always like this, though.
No.
I mean, everyone starts somewhere. your story is a little bit different from most. I mean, you're not coming up playing in LA, highly recruited, playing for all these top AAU programs. Or you're not coming up under whoever it may be and going right into those Div 1 ranks and going right highly recruited into the draft, late first round, second round, or whatever it may be. You took a little bit of an alternate path, starting from what I would consider a humble place. Now, you're from Hawaii, correct?
Yep.
So which one of the islands?
Oahu.
Okay. So do you have a specific, now I'm a foreigner, so is there a specific area or is there a place you claim?
Waianae.
Okay.
Waianae is the western part of the island, and it's like the countryside.
Okay.
And it's one street in, one street out. Damn. And people don't really go there. It's rough over there. It's one of the roughest places on the island. So you're not going to see this place on postcards. You know what I mean? And people don't really go to Waianae unless you have family or friends down there. Right. Because there's no reason for you to go down there.
So how do you go from there to playing in the Euro Cup? That's a long road.
Yeah.
Run us through that. What was your story?
So after my junior year, grade 11 is how y'all call it out here in Canada, right? Mm-hmm. After my 11th grade year, I signed with a Division II school, Western Washington. And at this time, I didn't know what Division I, Division II, and all the levels of basketball. You know what I mean? I just wanted to play ball.
Right.
So I went to a camp in California. It was the Full Court Press West Camp, something like I don't even remember. But I had some good players in there. I did well, had a few scouts, that recruited me out of that. And that's where I got my lift from Western Washington. And at this time, Western Washington was the number one Division II school in the country.
They're still dominant, yeah.
They still play well, you know what I mean? Like I think the same coach, Coach Dominguez, is still there. But they just won 2 national titles in a row. And then they gave me a full ride scholarship, but I didn't have the grades. And so, once I didn't have the SAT scores, ACT, my grades were terrible. I think I graduated with 2.3. Oh. You know what I mean? So I was NCAA ineligible. So scholarships ripped away. And so
So you weren't always this well spoken?
No, definitely not.
This is interesting. I like where this is going.
So right when the scholarship got taken away, Hawaii is so small, and all the hoopers know everybody.
People know.
Just like in the basketball world. Everybody knows everybody, right?
Right.
And so the head assistant coach is Coach Bob Nash. He used to play for the Fab Five for University of Hawaii back in the day. He played for the Kings too when they were the Minneapolis Kings. Okay. And he has a son who is 2 years younger than me, and he was going to Ilani High School at the time. And his son was a highly recruited guy too. But once my scholarship got taken away, Coach Nash found out about it, and he had a friend in Nebraska, Western Nebraska Community College, who needed a point guard. And so he ended up hooking me up with Western Nebraska, and that's how I got sent there. And I was in Scottsbluff, Nebraska, a nowhere town right on the border of Colorado and Wyoming.
Not going to pretend to know, but yeah.
Sure. And they gave me a full ride scholarship. Never seen me play. Wow. It was just a friend of a friend, and that's how I got started playing college. And I went the junior college route.
I mean, going NCAA to junior college, that's an opportunity to shine, is it not? I mean, were you hurt by that?
No, not at all. I mean, because it was a second chance, really. I didn't have the grades to go to that Division II school that I really wanted to go to, but it was actually a blessing in disguise because, after I went to this junior college, the first year we won Region 9, we were the best team, and got to go to the national tournament in Hutchinson, Kansas. And we had J.P. Batista that went to Gonzaga. Okay. And our shooting guard was Ryan Thompson, an Australian guy who ended up playing the year after for UConn.
Gotcha.
When they won the championship with Ben Gordon and Mecca Okafor.
So you had some guys.
We had hoopers, man. We were really good. 8 of our 9 sophomores all went Division I.
No way.
Wow. What I mean? So we were really
That's saying
good.
Something.
We're top 25 that year. And then I played well as a first year, as a freshman. I was coming off the bench, but played well. And then all these scouts were coming. We had Jim Boeheim in the stands. We had Calhoun in the stands.
These are big ass names for people that don't know.
Schools from all these mid-major schools were all in our practices. You know what I mean? Sometimes we'd have 10 different coaches in one practice.
At a practice. Just sitting on the floor, sitting on the chairs, just writing notes.
Sitting right next to us, writing notes. You know what I mean?
No way.
We're coming up to them, talking to them. They're pulling some of us aside and saying they're going to start recruiting us.
No way.
So this is the first time I ever got to experience anything like this, right? Because we also had a 7-footer, Fernando Bonfim, who was this 7-foot Brazilian guy, huge. He was 330, massive guy, one of the biggest guys I ever played for. But these were the guys who were attracting all these scouts. And so, of course, anybody else is on the team and we're winning too.
You're getting seen, absolutely.
Everyone's getting seen.
And you didn't have that in Hawaii.
And I didn't have that in Hawaii. You know what I mean? So it was actually a good thing that I didn't have grades. Kids, you need to have your grades though.
We're not saying that's the route you should take.
Not everybody gets lucky like
but
that.
But it happened to work out.
Gotcha. So yeah, and then I ended up getting looks at a junior college where I had to stay there for 3 years. I had a redshirt season, and then I got picked up by Brigham Young University, and that's when my Division I route took off. You know what I mean?
For those that don't know, that's a very established NCAA program. Listeners will probably remember that from Jimmer Mania and Jimmer Fredette, because that was the biggest thing in basketball at one point.
He was a year after
that
me.
was right after you.
Yeah.
So you taking credit?
No, not at all. Jimmer is the man. I've been knowing Jimmer since he was a sophomore in high school.
Right.
So I mean, he always could fill the bucket up. So he's just one of those guys that's just gifted at scoring. Just range. He shoots. He can handle the ball. He's crafty. You know what I mean? Great dude. So I mean, yeah. And when he came in, everybody knew Jimmer was going to be something. Well, what he turned into. Right. Everybody already knew it.
So he came in after you at the 2 spot, or you were at the 1 spot. So, yeah. But was it a mentorship thing, or was he just came in and he was the man type thing?
The first couple of years, I mean, he was the man every year he was there for sure, no doubt. But the first couple of years, he was splitting whoever was the man on the team between him and Trent Playstead. And Trent Playstead, I played with him for 2 years, and he was a 6'11" power forward center. He got drafted the second round to the Pistons.
Okay.
But he would have been a lottery if he would have left after his freshman year, my first year playing with him. But he stayed a little bit too long. He left after his junior year. And if he would have stayed they were both the same years, him and Jimmer. If he would have stayed for his senior year, there would have never been Jimmer Mania. It would have flipped that whole script would have flipped, and it would have been both of their teams.
He probably wouldn't get drafted so high, and then
he wouldn't have been the same Jimmer for sure.
But then would they have gone deeper in the tournament?
Possibly. Because they would have had Trent Playstead at center, they would have Brandon Davies at center, and then Trent Playstead at the 4 with Jimmer at the combo spot.
That's dangerous.
So it would have been a nice team, and I think Jackson Emery would have played the 3.
That guy shoots from the logo.
Oh yeah. So they had a squad, and then they're well coached. I mean, Coach Rose has those guys. He's one of the most. I think he's like top 5 right now for active coaches.
That's crazy. That's crazy to me, right? That level of excellence, and that's. I mean, when we talk about BYU. You don't hear it. Maybe it's in terms. I mean, it's definitely not mid-major for sure. It's definitely
they call it that, but it's not.
But it's not, exactly.
BYU's top 25 every year. We were 19th when I was there.
So when you hear BYU, you might think. I don't think that you think mid-major. No part of me thinks mid-major.
I don't think anybody thinks like
right?
that. Really.
Even though it is classified. So BYU is in there with the Louisvilles and even the Kentuckys and the Dukes. Like they're there. They're right there
they're
with
up
the.
There.
The Georgetowns and all that. So they're definitely prominent. But I mean, how many guys are going from a JUCO, junior college, or even a Division II, and then going to mid-majors or those top 25 colleges? Is that super common?
It's not. Well, for junior college, it's very common for players to go to the Division I level for sure, because you only can play 2 years at a junior college
and that's
level.
A grades thing too a lot of the time as well.
That's what pretty much it makes up the whole junior college level. Pretty much is a bunch of Division I players without grades.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But from the Division II level.
From the Division II, it's a lot harder because if you're going to move from Division II to Division I think you lose 1 year of eligibility.
You've used
you got to use one year, and most people will use it as a red shirt if they haven't already redshirted.
Right. So
if it's somebody like me, if I'm playing Division II and I had the same 3 years that I did at junior college where I had a redshirt season, then I would lose my junior season going into BYU if that was a Division II that I went to first. So it just depends on your route. Everybody's route is different, but the junior college route, a lot of kids don't know about junior college. When they hear junior college, it sounds like high school or something like that. In Hawaii, all my friends, when they heard that I was going to junior college, they're like, "You're going to junior college?"
Damn, they did you dirty, yeah.
Our junior college, we have one junior college in Hawaii, and they don't have any sports.
Okay.
So this is what Hawaii looks at junior college
right.
Junior college, like you ain't playing nothing,
Yeah. Come on now, yeah.
I guess Sean ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, I guess that's a wrap. Yeah, he was really something, and then he couldn't get it straight. So, then I mean that's. How would you classify your success at BYU? I mean, you obviously had a great team, but what were the expectations and how do you think you filled them?
Well, and another thing is when schools recruit junior college players, they expect them to come in right away and contribute. You know what I mean? Because you're an experienced player.
Yeah, you've developed a little bit. You're not a kid out of high school anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know how to run a team and stuff like that, especially at the point guard spot that I play. But I was more of a scorer coming out of junior college, and I got to hone my skills in as a PG, a pure PG, when I got to BYU. But I came in and I did well. The point guard who was there before me was Austin Ainge, Danny Ainge's son.
Yeah.
So Danny Ainge used to be at all the games and stuff. He used to come watch. It was great. And then Austin, I used to call him, he's like in his mind, he thinks like Michael Jordan.
As a competitor?
Yeah. No. The way he thinks is like Michael Jordan, but the way he plays is like Steve Kerr. You know what I mean? He's one of the smartest players I've ever played with. You know what I mean? And sometimes in the huddles, when we're in the huddle, coaches calling timeouts right during the game. And we're all waiting for the coach to drop a play, and we'll see Austin Ainge getting in there, drawing up a play. You know what I mean? Like that.
It's in his genes.
It's in his genes. He was smart. A lot of people hate on him, but he's one of the smartest players I've ever seen. You know what I mean? I played with hundreds of players.
Yeah, gotcha.
You know what I mean? And that's the reason why I think he's currently coaching for the Celtics right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
an assistant role, right? Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's one of the youngest. He was the youngest head coach in the D League when it was the D League. He got when the Maine Red Claws had their expansion year and they were the affiliates of the Celtics. He was the head coach. From right when he graduated from BYU, he got the head assistant coaching job at Southern Utah.
Wow.
And then the year after, he was the head coach for the Maine Red Claws in the D League.
Southern Utah is not a bad place either, too. That's right out of BYU, going right to that position. That's impressive, right? So
head assistant.
Still, I mean, you know what? That's so to those people that say that he just got that Celtic job because of his father. Nah, not even close.
Austin is he's an IQ genius.
Gotcha.
He can. I learned a lot from him. You know what I mean? Even though I was playing ahead of him, some games he started over me. You know what I mean?
No way.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
He can get the job done for sure. But I mean, when it came to matchups or more athletic players, and then of course I would have to play in front of him. But
gotcha.
For the most part, we split minutes when I was there.
Right.
I played well though. I didn't get to finish my senior year. That's another story.
Okay.
But yeah.
Another story you want to get into? Or
we can if you want.
One of those stories you want to kiss over here. But so you went. So run me through your years of eligibility here. So you went through again. So Division II didn't work out because of the grades. And then all of a sudden you go to the JUCO. Mm-hmm. So remind everybody the system then there. How many years of eligibility do you have? If you do go to a junior college, how many do you have left? If you have 10 1 year.
So if you're NCAA eligible,
right?
If you have the grades coming out of high school, but you didn't get recruited or anything, so you went the junior college route, you can play 1 year and transfer out to any other school that you want.
And you do not have to redshirt.
And you don't have to redshirt.
Out, yeah.
And you'll still, after you play that 1 year at junior college, then you can have 3 years of eligibility anywhere else, plus a red shirt if you didn't use that first year as a red shirt. But you can have 3 more years of eligibility anywhere else that you go.
So then you use those full 3 years at BYU.
You could.
Yeah.
And then if you're in NCAA ineligible, like I was, I didn't have the grades out of high school or the SAT scores and stuff. So you have to spend 2 years playing at the junior college level. You have to. There's no way around it.
Right.
And then you would only have 2 more years to play anywhere else that you get a scholarship or you decide to play somewhere else. You only have 2 more years to play.
Gotcha. So, I mean, as someone that knows the system quite well because you've gone through it and you're soon to be coaching in it, how do you feel about the one and dones? Do you feel like we should retreat back to how, I mean, Kevin Garnett, Kobe Bryant, these guys came right out of high school and made amazing livings for themselves. And then, I mean, there's the emergence of the JBA and all that, but do you feel like the NCAA is doing an injustice? Or are you on their side or in terms of getting a college education or any thoughts on that?
I think if you're physically and mentally ready for the NBA, you should be able to go.
Right.
You should be able to do whatever you want. You know what I mean? Because NCAA takes advantage of people anyway. It's a big money maker. You know what I mean?
Huge.
That's all it is. Whoever goes through the NCAA ranks, and I wish it was for all the people. That's the reason why Ed O'Bannon had that big court case against the NCAA, which they ended up paying a bunch of whoever went through the NCAA. They ended up giving everybody money back, which was nothing. I think some people. One of my teammates, I think, got like $200 or something like that. I forget how much money they actually won, but
that's a joke.
Yeah, it's a joke. I mean, like, because a lot of kids who play at that or any level, they're college kids. They don't have any money. A lot of people, especially with me, I didn't have any money. My family didn't have any money. I was lucky that I had a scholarship.
Right.
Or I probably would have
never happened.
It never would have happened. You know what I mean? I'd been playing in my backyard still.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like I believe if you're ready to play at in the professional level overseas or the NBA, they should let them do it.
Gotcha.
And I think the reason why that they are changing the rules, and it's going to happen, I think, next year, is because of the emergence of the JPA. So whatever's going on with
times are changing.
Times are changing.
Times are changing. The business is. I mean, the amount of interest, especially in American college sports, is just insane, and the revenue generated from that is preposterous. Like it truly is. I mean, college basketball is one thing, and I mean, listen, you go to a Kentucky, North Carolina game, that's going to be insane. That's a once in a lifetime experience. But if you go to like a college football game. Get out of here, right?
Man, they're making millions a year
per school. Exactly.
Per sport.
And then that program pays for the other programs and runs the school and gets those bonus checks going and all that.
The coach is getting paid. The school's getting paid.
Players not getting
Players
a dime.
ain't getting a dime.
Right.
Not even jersey sales. They're selling their jerseys, not even getting none of that.
Yeah, it's. I mean, that's a whole nother conversation we could go deep into. But I mean, just to revert back to your story a little bit. So, how did you? You say you didn't play your senior year, and you still went to the professional ranks?
Yeah. So we were battling to see who was the top team in the Mountain West Conference. BYU was in the Mountain West when I was
your junior year.
This is my senior year.
Okay.
So I finished my whole junior year.
Okay.
And we made it to the NIT tournament that year, and we lost in the first round to Houston.
Okay.
And we're a bubble team. We almost made the March Madness that year.
Right. So the NIT is the National Invitational Tournament. Basically, for those that don't know, it's those teams that maybe didn't get that wild card spot, so to say, into the tournament, into the big dance. They still want to play postseason, and they're still all very good teams, and there's good money to be made on that tournament as well. And so they get an opportunity to play and slug it out. Even though they might not be the top of the top, they're still extremely well. So you played against who in the first round?
We lost to Houston.
Houston in the first round, yeah.
Yeah.
So again, great program as well. So
yeah.
So
and they had a guy named Oliver who I ran up against in Lithuania years down.
Okay, no
anyway,
way. Yeah.
Another question. I mean, back to the question, but yeah, we had a really good team that year, 21-9. We were ranked nationally that year, 2 top 25, and then we finished in the NIT. We're a bubble team. And then the next year, we're a top 25 again. And it was
now your senior year.
Now it's my senior year. My last season with BYU.
This is 2000 and...
It's 2007.
God, you old, man.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So we're as leading into, I think, the month of December, and preseason just finished. And I was struggling too going into the regular season, and now we're playing against San Diego State, who is they have them picked to win the whole conference, and us picked second, and we're playing them in Provo at home. They have Marcus Slaughter, Brandon Heath, and both of them are EuroLeague, Euro Cup players.
Great fan base out there too.
Yep. Yeah. I played against Brandon Heath in Poland, and he's still playing currently, both of them. But yeah, it was against them. So Richie Williams, who he's in Pro A Germany, he was the point guard that year. But yeah, really good team. We had a good team, and we're playing them at home. I had a great game. I had 21 and like 7 assists, something like that. We ended up winning. And then that night, I ended up getting pulled over for a reckless driving and DUI.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So, and of course, for BYU, there's a bunch of rules. They call it the honor code system.
Right.
And so it's a very strict school where you have to follow all the.
It's a Christian school?
It's a Mormon school.
Sorry, excuse me. Yeah. My ignorance right there, but I'm not on that wave so much, but so they're very much an honor code.
Yeah. The LDS Mormon Church is what makes up BYU, and pretty much the whole student body, but like I think it's 2% of the university that's not LDS.
Wow.
And probably over half of that is athletes. And the rest would be just little sprinkles of people who just
goes
to the school, but pretty much everybody's LDS at the school. But if you sign, or if you even go to the school, or you sign a letter of intent to play for BYU, you have to abide by the honor code.
Right.
And so, like, there's no drinking, no smoking, no sex, no caffeine.
Damn. No caffeine?
No earrings, no facial hair.
You're kidding.
There's a bunch of rules. It's a bunch of rules.
So as athletes, you're very strict to that code? Like no caffeine?
Yeah,
you're in college.
they don't even sell, they don't even sell caffeine soda on campus or anywhere around campus. And all of Provo, everything's caffeine free.
Man, that's got to be a huge dropout rate. Come on now.
There's no coffee.
I don't know how you get through college without no coffee.
No tea. Like,
no tea, no green tea. No
tea.
Oh
nothing.
my God. Jesus, everyone's wearing sweatpants. You show too much neck, you got a problem, man. You can cover up your ears, man.
No cleavage. They look at you like you're a stripper or something. It's crazy.
Wow.
It's a different world.
Okay.
So, BYU is an amazing place. The school, the facilities, everything, the people, amazing.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, I made a mistake. I was young, you know what I mean? And just living my own life.
This was in San Diego?
This was in Provo. So, and that's what ended my playing career at BYU. I ended up I was able to continue school and finish, which is great. But my basketball career was finished at BYU.
Wow. Just for a one night.
Yeah. Damn. And so, and after that, I was pretty much on my own.
Right.
Because the program didn't want anything to do with me, really.
So they allowed you to stay in school and finish out your degree.
Yeah.
But just athletically,
I was done.
So they're very black and white, very none of that at all.
Yeah. Okay. They blackballed me right away.
And so it was just like literally there's no like hard drugs involved. There's no like assault involved. There's no there's nothing.
It's the honor code. You're not allowed.
You had some caffeine in your system and maybe a little something else, but that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It was a wrap. So. Yeah, so I pretty much was starting at ground zero again, basketball-wise.
Wow.
And, I ended up going to a camp over the summer where I met this guy, Alex Hartman, who he's a creator of Shoot 360, which is blowing up all over the U.S. It started in Beaverton, Oregon, and now it's in L.A. They have this huge facility, and it's the future of basketball is what they call it in all sports magazines.
Training facility.
It's a training facility. Amazing. So if you guys haven't heard of it, look it up. It's amazing. But I met him at this big man guard camp in Oregon. In Eugene, and then after that, I was working at a farm here in Canada throughout the year. I'm mucking stalls and walking horses.
Things
out.
really went downhill for Rashaun. He just, next thing you know, he's in a car going a little too fast. Next thing you know, he's shoveling shit out the horse. But
top 25 in the country, starting point guard. Then I'm shoveling.
Caffeine is evil, people. That's a gateway drug for sure. Check yourselves. Anyway, so you end up in Canada. You went to this big man camp in Oregon. So at this point, when you graduate, are you thinking, I want to play professionally? What did you get your degree in? What's your college education in?
Sociology.
Okay, no way. Okay, awesome. So,
which I won't use it for anything but coaching, but
regardless, let's not shit on the system too much. But so at this point, are you like, I'm going straight pro, or are you exploring different avenues? Obviously, you ended up in a ranch, so.
Well, I'm just like anybody else that after they finish their university careers, everybody wants to try their luck at playing professionally.
Sure.
So I went to camps and everything like that. I tried out for a D League team, the Idaho Stampede.
Yeah.
There was an old BYU coach that was coaching at the Stampede during that time, and he told me about the tryout. So I tried my luck there, made it to the last cut, didn't make it.
Tough.
You know what I mean? And then I was in the Chinese draft camp, made it to the last cut, didn't make it.
No way.
You know what I mean? But then after that, it's just like, what's next type of deal. You know what I mean? My daughter, who was about to be born months later.
Wow.
And which she's Canadian, so I ended up coming to Canada.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And I had to just train and work until my next opportunity showed up. And the year passes by, and this is when the Edmonton Chill started up in the International Basketball
Crazy.
League. And I played in there, which the coach was Paul Sir.
So you were in Alberta working at a ranch.
Yep.
See, now if I'm a guy in Edmonton, Canada, and I'm working with a guy at a ranch,
I was in Calgary at the ranch.
If I'm in Calgary and I'm shoveling shit with some dude, I'm not thinking he's probably going to go have an illustrious professional basketball career.
I think they thought I was bullshitting too when they're like, what are you trying to do? I'm just working here so I can make some money for my family, and I'm going to try to play professional basketball. Okay, whatever.
For people that are just listening, Rashaun sits at maybe 5'11".
5'11" and 3/4 with shoes.
6 foot. I'm going to call you 6 foot. Just underneath 6 foot. If I'm shoveling shit with some 6 foot Hawaiian guy, I'm not thinking Samoan guy. Yeah. I'm not thinking he's going professional. There's no knock against you or Samoans, but I'm just saying. You know what I mean? And so you end up in this IBL.
IBL. International Basketball League.
So for those that haven't heard of it, is it like, can you please explain?
The International Basketball League, I don't think it's running anymore. And if it is, it's only on the West Coast, which will be only in Washington and Oregon.
Okay.
And the guy who made it is originally from Portland, Oregon. And he made all these teams on the West Coast. There was one in LA. There was another team on the East Side in Indiana. And then we were the only team in Canada. Vancouver had a team in there for one season. Then they fell off. It was the Vancouver Titans. There we go.
Brandon, I know a couple guys that played on it. Brandon and Ellis, yeah, for sure.
Yep. And they played for one season, and then they stopped. But we were the only team in Canada. It was, I think, it went from the Chill the first year, and then they switched owners, and it became the Energy, and it went on for five summers. And the season lasts from April until about late June, early July. And it's pretty much for like guys who's coming back overseas, and they can just make a couple extra dollars and stuff that, and get to stay in shape pretty much.
Stay in game shape.
Then there's also guys who are trying to look to get another job,
trying to break into the game,
like I was at the time.
Gotcha.
And so when I ended up playing for the Edmonton Chill, I ran up against my friend Alex that I met at that Eugene camp.
Oh, okay.
And so, we were keeping in contact throughout the year, every now and then.
As players do,
And then he signed in Romania. And when he was in Romania already, his agent at the time was Paul Kevin, Virtus Management out of Seattle.
Okay.
And Alex, the team asked Alex, "Do you know a point guard?" And then I was like, "Yeah, I know this guy. I met him. He's real good." And that's when he gave his agent my contact info. And then I got the call actually on my birthday on August 5th, and that's when I signed my first contract to Romania. And it was a 2-week tryout deal though.
You're kidding?
Yeah. So I went there on a 2-week tryout, and I ended up I was ready. I became the starting point guard, 5th leading scorer in the league, and that's when my career started out in Europe.
From a ranch in Calgary.
And then I met the right person a year before and ran up against him again, and then he got a job and referred me, and that's how it started.
And that's life. And then you're going to have an 11-year career.
Yeah.
And frankly, could have had a 15-year career.
I could still go right now for sure.
Yeah.
I chose to stop. I can go for another 2 or 3 years. My agent didn't want me stopping, that's for sure.
Of course he did. Yeah,
he's making a couple dollars off me.
But
but yeah.
So you're in Romania now. You hit this tryout deal. So is that like, if we were to equate this to NBA terms, that's like a 10-day contract?
Yeah.
Or a training camp contract?
Yep, training camp.
So probably not a lot of cash.
No. I think I was living off of per diem, and if I made the team, and then my contract would start.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like bearing nothing.
Yeah, I pretty much had to take my $10, $20 that I had in my pocket and take it all the way halfway across the world to try to play.
Right. So you were at the dollar menu at this point. You hadn't even they haven't even get the Big Mac yet. I got you.
I'm making my own ramen noodles and stuff.
That's it. That's all you got
bread
going
and
on.
Butter, like.
So again, how the hell that happens, I don't know. I mean, like, luck of fate, I don't call it what you will. Hard work, opportunity, preparation. It's a lot of things you could take from that. Something I take from that personally is probably optimism.
Yep.
Like, that had to be a tough position to be in.
For sure.
I mean, looking at your career from a guy that knows you a little bit, it's just, I'm seeing these ups and these downs, these ups and these downs, ups and these downs, and fucking a lot of inconsistency. It just in terms of whether that's just a stroke of bad luck. I mean, how many, I don't know, and I don't want to assume, but how many NCAA athletes have a drink?
Shit, damn near all of them, unless they're going to BYU.
Right. So,
or the driest school in the country.
The driest school.
Just add that in there. They say it on ESPN every year.
The driest school in the country.
Driest school in the country.
To be in that situation and have maybe a couple strokes of bad luck, but to stay prepared, stay ready. So when you did get that call, did go to that training camp and did, take that. I mean, taking that first flight over to Europe is a hell of an experience, right? Because it's a different world out there. And for the people that don't know, haven't been or haven't played on any level over there, it's basketball is the only common language.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that you're connected to anybody else through. I mean, you don't know the food, you don't know the language, you don't know the women, there's nothing. You're dressing different, you're speaking different. There's no way to communicate. The only thing you have in common is like, yeah, I can put this ball through a hoop, and you're trying to coach me put this ball through a hoop. I mean, I'm sure you've had situations where like you're in a huddle and coach isn't speaking your language.
My first coach.
Your first coach?
My first
speaking
coach.
Romanian?
He's Romanian. He didn't speak any English. One of the assistant coach spoke a little bit.
Okay.
But like this is where I mean, good thing I seen what was it? What's that movie? Not He Got Game, but
I don't know.
where
I should know, but I don't know if I know.
the girlfriend and the guy both went to USC. Love and basketball.
Love and basketball. Hell
Love
yeah, I
and
know that
basketball.
thing.
There we
Yeah.
go. So you remember when she was playing in Spain, and
Yeah,
then the
yeah.
coach is talking and this and that. Then she leans over. What did he say?
Yeah.
She said, "Just give you the ball and you score."
Yeah, you go score. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, put it in.
Okay. You know,
Got it.
that's pretty
Yeah.
much what it was, and that's where I knew that when my coach didn't speak English, I just had to pay attention to what he drew up on the board.
So your X's and O's game got real tight.
Yeah, my exes. It was already pretty good just coming out of BYU, but playing overseas, and sometimes you don't have a coach that speaks English.
Next level.
Yeah, you got to step it up.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know how to read the X's and O's, and you're going to Europe and you get stuck with a coach who don't speak English, you might be on your way out if you don't know how to read.
If you were to say a percentage of coaches over there on Pro A, Division One, top-ish level Euro Cup, not necessarily Euro League, how many coaches are like speaking English or
at the high level leagues, all of them. Speak
all
English.
of them? But like
All
I'm
of
talking about again the Pro A's and kind of that one step down where guys aren't necessarily superstars.
Yeah.
Right.
It just all depends on the club. Like if it's the type of club that has money, and then or it's a club that really that really wants the coach to be able to communicate with the players, like
Right.
and they're not going to just put anybody at the helm of the team. Like then the coach will speak English, but
Gotcha.
it really just depends on how the club thinks and how they want to run their team, pretty much.
And how many imports you have coming in.
Yeah.
Now, again, just me having a brief basketball experience in Denmark, the way that we have it is, or the way that they have it over there is there's 2 import spots for North Americans. How is that fluid across Europe or the leagues that you played in, or is that pretty a standard number, so to speak?
Now, in most leagues in Europe, I would say it's around like 5.
5, yeah.
5 to 7. Like
Right.
the Romanian league when I was there, it was 8 actually.
Oh, no
when I was
way.
there. I think now it's 5 or 6.
Right.
Lithuania is 5. Germany is unlimited, and that's one.
Germany's unlimited, so that's why
Germany's-
everyone's going over to the Bundesliga and all
Yeah.
that stuff. So, yeah, that's I know in some of the Scandinavian countries, in Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Iceland, they try to limit it because they're trying to grow basketball
Yeah. The
locally.
Asian market is 2.
Yeah, Asian markets too as well. So, but I mean, even if regardless if there's 2, you got to be the Michael Jordan of that team.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's no doubt.
You
no
have
doubt.
to be the number 1 option or the number 2 option, or a facilitator point guard like yourself. I mean, did you have a season where you averaged less than 10 points? You couldn't have.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I had a season like that, but my team didn't need me to be that number 1 option.
Sure. So what did that? So then the assists must have been crazy.
I was topping assists for sure.
So like what, 6, 7, 8,
I
9.
think that I was averaging 9 points this year, and I was leading the league in assists. I was like 6 assists.
Exactly. So like you're doing a lot of heavy lifting. There's no way you're in those top 2 spots and you're not doing a lot of heavy lifting.
For sure.
And I think a lot of guys don't understand that from Canadian and American point of view. It's like, oh yeah, I can go play on that level. Well, yeah, you can go play on that level, but you have to be number 1 option or number 1 facilitator or number 1 rebounder. You have to be a star, or else they're not going to pay for you. And there's so many of you guys coming over that you have to be the cream of the crop.
Oh yeah, it's a cutthroat business. Like if you're not producing, you're done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Or injured.
or injured. Like it depends on what you have in your contract. For me, if I was injured for my first month, I still get full pay. If I'm out for a month, second month I get half. Third month, the club has a choice. They can either keep me or send me home. You know what I mean? And some guys don't have that. You know what I mean, they don't have those clauses where it'll help them out. But like, it just depends on what kind of contract you have, really.
Yeah.
Well,
So from there, again, Romania, you just played 1 season there.
yeah.
Successful season for you personally.
Yeah, personally, it was one of my highest scoring seasons. I was averaging 17 that year.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
17 as a 5'11" and 3/4 point guard.
Yeah.
Out of a junior college. I mean, really, and I'm not trying to put you down, but I'm just saying, right? I mean, I could put that a couple different ways, but that's impressive.
Yeah.
In a top league.
Yeah.
So from there, that team didn't re-sign you. You'd think if you had such a successful season, that team would be all over you.
Oh, they wanted me back, but I wanted to. it's a way you got to play the game out there. Like there's some leagues you don't want to spend too long in.
Okay.
Because there's some leagues that aren't looked at as high caliber leagues. And so at that time, the Romanian league wasn't one of those high leagues where you can go from playing in the Romanian league to like Euro Cup or Euro League or Champions League. You know what I mean? So like the vision that I have for myself, like money isn't what drives me. It's not when it comes to playing. You know what I mean? Like I feel I can play with anybody out at any level. And what drove me my whole career to get better is trying to get to the EuroLeague level. And of course, I have the NBA dream. What player doesn't? You know what I mean? So of course, I still had it in the back of my head. Oh, I can still make it to the NBA. I remember I texted Danny Ainge one summer. He never replied back to me. But
like, Austin, your dad left me on red. What's going on?
Like,
Come on,
hey, Austin, I know you. I hope you hear this.
you want to have dinner? Like I come over to your house. Like
Danny, I wrote you. Where's my message? Like,
no,
you know what I mean? He never wrote me back, and whatever. You know what I mean? So, but I always had in the back of my head that I want to play in the NBA. But if not, I want to make it to the highest level in Europe that I can, which is EuroLeague. So I mean, that's what drove me. And I even turned down contracts sometimes that was for more money just to play in a higher league.
Right. So that was kind of your mind state. I mean, you were sorry. What age were you at this point? After your first year?
I was 23.
So you're 23 years old. I mean, any 23-year-old. I mean, I can relate. Most of us are driven by money.
Yeah.
I mean, like we got a lot of testosterone coming out of our ears, you know what I mean? So money's important to a lot of us. But sure, you had different or ulterior motives that maybe were more humble, more honorable, which is awesome. But that was really your mind state in terms of, I just want to get to the highest league.
Yeah.
It wasn't about, I mean, you're kind of, for those that don't know Rashaun's, again, military family background, very much professional dude. So coming out of your first year in Europe, there's a lot of lifestyle changes that happen there. Mm-hmm. Like in terms of if you're an American if you are in that 1 spot, 2 spot, or 3 spots for those Americans, those communities embrace you. It's not like sports over here. I mean, correct me if I'm saying anything incorrect, because again, maybe I'm wrong, but if you go to, for instance, if you play in the semi-pro leagues out here, if you play in the NAPB, even the the G League, those cities aren't embracing you like they would in Europe. Yeah. What was that experience like?
It was great because you get somewhat of a celebrity type of lifestyle, off the court, because wherever you go, people
know you.
People know you. You know what I mean? You're playing in their NBA. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So that was cool. You know what I mean? And just being around that, and you don't really get that feeling. The last time I had that feeling was maybe when I was at BYU.
Right.
Because everybody knows when you're walking around campus, you got on your
all
BYU
the gear and all that. Yeah,
everybody comes to your games. I mean, we average 17,000 people at our games. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So our arena is the 4th biggest arena in the U.S.
Not
22,800 something.
Not
like
a
that.
drop of liquor.
Yeah. So.
I don't know if we could even convince 17,000 people to come out to a game where there's no booze. But anyways.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So like, and a lot of people get lost in that though. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you get a taste of that celebrity life or whatever, and then you lose that focus. You know what I mean? And you start partying this and that. And believe me, when everybody knows you, everybody also sees what you're doing.
Right.
You can't go out to some club. You're exposed. You're telling on yourself really if you're going out. You know what I mean? So when you get to that next level, you really have to live like you are playing for BYU. You know what I mean? Good thing I experienced that early on in my career or in my university days where I was at BYU and I learned how to be professional, even though it didn't end the way that I wanted to end. But
sure,
I still took something away from it. You know what I mean? So that's how I lived my professional life where, I mean, you don't want to be doing stuff you're not supposed to. You know what I mean?
But you're 23 years old.
23
years. You're making money off basketball.
Yeah. But that's the reason why I got to play until I'm 34 years old, because...
So you clearly figured it out.
Yeah, I figured it out at an early age because I've seen them come and go. Guys who've only played 1 year and then they're done.
Right. I mean, that happens all the time, across professions. I mean, obviously in a business background, when guys land their first contract or, as advisors, they land their first big book or whatever it is. I mean, they're buying that Bentley. They're buying that BMW. I guarantee it. Like, even if they make $80,000 in a year, they're buying that $80,000 car as soon as they sign that contract. Right. And in a space like sports and athletics, not to put it down because I live in that, but let's be honest, like, we attract egos.
For sure.
I mean, we attract douchebags. We attract extremely individualistic, driven people.
Most athletes are douchebags.
Absolutely. And to not be one is a feat in itself. But So to go down that and have that be in that situation, and whatever that may entail, and I'm not trying to get into specifics, but let's just say it was probably no BYU.
That's for sure.
You know what I mean? And so was that recognized in you by, like, when you sat down with GMs, when you sat down with media or whatever, was it like, oh no, this is Rashaun, he's a little bit different in terms of his approach to the game? Or was it just something you kept and you internalized, and you might have had a different personality on the court?
I just think that's just how I was raised, really. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I've always been the same. I mean, I make mistakes just like anybody else, but I mean, I was always the type of guy that I try to do what's right all the time. You know what I mean? I try to be nice and treat everybody the same.
Yeah.
And I think that's what just rubs off people. Like, when they meet me and they get to know me as a person, everybody knows who I am, and it's followed me like that from team to team. Like, you know, like whatever team you play for next, they always go back. They refer back to the team you played for before.
Everyone's talking.
Yeah, everyone's talking. What type of player is this guy? What does he do in his off time? Is he out partying? Is he drinking? Blah blah blah. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
And my agent is Lithuanian, and you know, even when he first met me, and he's like, "You're not like any of the other Americans I represent, you know, or I've seen, and this and that." And in the way he talks to other GMs and teams like that, and he tells everybody who I am, and you know, and what type of person I am. So I mean, like, when you meet me, you kind of, this is what you get, you know what I mean? That's just who I am. So
it is what it is. Yeah, I'm here.
What it is.
It's pretty much you know, from my experience with you, you're an open book, so to speak. Like, I'm gonna, I mean, of course, you're always discovering new things about people, but it's not you're a couple years down the line, you know, it's not going to take a twist for the bad. Oh yeah, Rashaun's actually, you know, he's a self-absorbed douchebag. You know, it's not like one of those front type things. So that's awesome. But even with, and what people don't know, Octagon is, again, one of the top agencies in the world.
Yeah, it's top 5.
Like, so I'm assuming your friend from the ranch in Calgary didn't just walk into that, and that was probably a different agency that he was with. How does one, I mean, for all the basketball players out there listening and all the guys in college that are maybe thinking about this, how does one, because the key is really in the agent and the agency you're with, how does one align with somebody like that or an organization like that? Do you get picked? Do you get hand plucked? Do you have to go out and search? Are you submitting resumes? Like, how do you find an agent like that?
It's funny because when I was playing for the Edmonton Chill, one of my teammates during that time, Lee Scruggs, he played at Georgetown back in the day when they had Sweetney in them and went to the I think they were Sweet 16.
Sweet 16, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Sweet 16 that year. But he's 6'11", looks like Tim Duncan. Same game and everything.
Right.
And he's coaching now in North Carolina. Big fundamental. And he was nice stroke. He was really good. But at that time, he was with Octagon, and Keith Crater was his agent at the time. And I remember I was killing the IBL, and then Lee was trying to hook me up with Keith, but Keith was his big time agent for Octagon at the time. He's still in Octagon right now.
No way.
I've never talked with him after, but and I talked to Keith over the phone. He was like, "Sorry, Sean, you know what I mean?" But pretty much telling me I'm small time and he can't help me out because he only works with guys who play at the Euro Cup level and up, Euro League, and this and that. And that's where my agent is at right now. But and fast forwarding to when I first meet Saulius Svitkauskis, who is my current agent right now, and my best friend, we're both the same age also, you know what I mean? Which age doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything,
sure,
you know what I mean? So, but when I first met Saulius, he was just starting out in the agency business too, and he had his own agency called Jumpstart. Jumpstart Agency. It was him and his partner, Evaldis. And my good friend Derek Lowe from Hawaii, he went to Washington State, played for the U.S. Pan Am team. Really good. He had a 6-7 year career overseas, and now he's training. He's the top trainer in Hawaii right now.
Oh, no way.
He's like the Michael Jordan of Hawaii.
Gotcha. Local icon. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Me and him were rivals. Like we were.
Oh, no way.
We're both point guards. You know what I mean? So we grew up playing against each other from high school. I played against him when he was at Washington State.
Hawaii legends.
And then we played against each other in Europe a few times. You know what I mean? So we played. It's like Larry Bird and Magic Johnson playing at every
documentary level. Coming soon.
I hope it would be nice.
So. All right, producers,
Hawaii,
reach out.
Sure.
Reach out.
But yeah, so Derek hooked me up with Saulius, and then it was just hard work. I didn't have an agent at the time after I finished that season in Romania, and I left that Paul Kevin guy because he wasn't doing anything for me after that great year that I had. He didn't have any offers for me. And then Derek hooks me up with Saulius and with his Jumpstart agency, and then that's how we started. We started with hard work. he was building up his clientele and getting players jobs everywhere on top teams and everything like that. And I was playing well, you know what I mean? So we just kept building every year until Octagon noticed what we were doing.
Right.
And then they welcomed us aboard, and that's how we got on Octagon.
And that's how you spent, I mean, maybe that's not how, but that's an instrumental part. I don't think you'd say otherwise of having that longevity in Europe. I mean, I don't think, was there any point in Europe where you were like, this might be it?
Never.
Never.
I've never thought like that ever in my life.
Really?
Like I remember seeing kids in high school, my teammates, and other people around, you know, like when you lose in the state championship, you lose and you're
There's
done.
that feeling, yeah.
Your senior year, you have to win the championship. It's your last time ever putting on a jersey. I never thought like that. I was like, even after we lost our last game, I wasn't crying in the locker room. In my mind, I always knew I was going to still continue to play.
Right,
because it's something I wanted to do, and I knew I could play at the next level.
There was no, maybe I'm not good enough. Or
Never.
Right.
Never. Right. You know, and I think that's the mentality that all hoopers have to have. You know what I mean? Or anything in life that you do. You can't never think, oh, this is it. If I don't do this and this now. If it doesn't work, find a different way to make it work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's been my mindset. The reason why I can go from working at a farm to have an 11-year career playing around the world. You know,
crazy.
What I mean? Even representing the national team of Albania, and I'm not even Albanian.
Yeah.
You know
how does that work, by the way?
Yeah.
So how far? Because it is a little factoid that I had in the back of my mind, and I said this isn't right. But so how far down the playing career was that for you? Was that year 6, year 5, year 4? Where was
the
that?
end of my career. I was 32.
No way. You were 32.
I was 32.
So you
this was 2 summers ago.
Morphed into an Albanian somehow. You not so much, or how did that even happen? Are you a citizen?
Yeah, I'm a citizen.
Oh,
I have a passport and everything.
No way.
I got it in 3 hours.
That's what you get with those Eastern countries. You know what I mean? Now he's got to be a citizen to play. Yeah, stamp, he's a citizen.
Pretty much. You want to play for us?
Sign him up. Sign him up right here, right now. That's amazing.
Uh,
Were some strings had to be pulled, or was that pretty much just that's how it is?
Well, we had a letter from the president. So like right when I got to Albania, we had to have my paperwork and everything, like my birth certificate and stuff like that. We had to have all that sent in to FIBA within hours.
Yeah.
And so that's the reason why this letter, we had to take it to the post office or whoever was making the passport.
Right.
And we're like, hey, we need this passport by this time today. And they're like, what are you talking about? We've never done a passport in hours. It's like, well,
now you have to do it.
You have to do it.
So you had a letter from the president.
Yeah. So
you had a letter from the president, or your team had a letter from the president?
The translator who was walking me around the city, taking me to get this stuff done, she had the letter, but it was for me.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
It wasn't like we grant anybody from this organization to get it was like Rashaun.
Get this guy a passport, get him citizenship today.
Wow.
We need him to represent our national team.
Someone made
2 days from now.
You're
There was
kidding.
a game 2 days later.
So was this
Georgia?
Okay, was it was this like a World Cup qualifier? Was this just expedition game? What
This
was
is the Eurobasket qualification round.
Damn.
So if we were to win this, we eventually, if we were to keep winning, we can qualify for the Olympics.
So those that don't know, how would you describe Eurobasket? Because again, I've never had any playing experience with that. A lot of my former coaches have coached in Eurobasket, and how would you describe what that means to a country or a team or even a player?
I thought playing for a university was something big on your shoulders. You're playing for a school,
right?
You know, you're playing for that area of the
Student
state.
Body.
You're playing for Utah or whatever. You know what I mean? Or BYU. Yeah. But to play for your whole country, I don't know if people can ever fathom that. You know what I mean? It's like playing for the U.S. national team or the Canadian national team. Like, it's a huge responsibility.
Right.
It's not just a game that you can just take lightly and lose or win, or hopefully you win.
Mm-hmm.
But if you lose, like, you're getting a lot of backlash from people all around in that country.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Like the stress level is even higher. It's not like any other game I've ever
It's not
experienced.
Like miss a free throw. Oh, it's whatever.
No,
it's
there's
serious repercussions here.
Serious repercussions. You know what I mean? Like there's some national teams where like, say for soccer, they're so huge out there in Europe where the goalie might get scored on and then they end up shooting this guy.
And
so you know what I mean? Like,
dead.
it's crazy.
He shot dead.
You know, like
off
that,
the airplane.
That's how serious they take it for these national teams. You know, so yeah, it was it was fun. It was a different kind of pressure, but I mean. I like those type of situations.
Yeah.
When it's basketball and at that level, I mean, you got to be able to deal with pressure.
Of course, I mean, especially as a professional, right? I mean, I look at you as a pro's pro, and to play for an Albanian national team, to feel the pressure of that, to being on that national team, while being a freaking Samoan, that's saying something. You know what I mean? Like that's first off, I don't even know if that's legit. I think that's a little illegitimate. But you know what?
I use it to get it to get into the airport. I use my
no way.
It works.
That's crazy. We got to make some calls.
I got it for 10 years. You
got 10 years on that? Yeah. Oh, come on now.
Once I get my Canadian citizenship, I have to give that up though.
I would have thought they would have just gave you a 6 month or something like that. Give you a temporary. God, they really loved you out there, right?
10 years.
God damn.
And I mean, the level of play is the highest ever because every player that's playing for a national team is either NBA,
right,
EuroLeague, or Euro Cup. It's the top players in the world that are.
So that was a huge, and probably on your resume, that was
huge,
massive.
It's huge, massive.
Would you say that's the biggest or the highest level that you played at?
Highest level, for sure.
No doubt. How many games were you with them for? What was your experience like with them? Like, we see it. I mean, we see it as ball players and coaches. We see, we might see local qualifiers. I mean, Canada basketball was just in town playing China. They whooped them, but
I played against Pangos in the last 2 years.
Yeah. So we might see that, and we see. Like the documentary style, we kind of see like what the Dream Team did or what these USA teams did. Was it to that full extent where you were really traveling with this team, really everywhere for the entire duration of it?
We played 6 games. I was there for a month of games. I was supposed to be there for 2 for practices and stuff like that. But since it was so late, because they had another American who they were supposed to give the citizenship to. Okay. But he withdrew like last minute. Okay. And that's when the coach who was coaching the team was a Greek guy who they gave citizenship to, and he was in my agency. Right. And then they called up my agent Saulius and asked if he knew a point guard, and then I was available, and that's how I got the gig. No way. And so and then I remember I was dropping my daughter off at her summer camp, and right when I dropped her off, it was like 8 a.m. I got home, and then my wife was like, "Sean, you got to be at the airport in 3 hours or 4 hours." So I literally.
Where were you at the time?
I was in Calgary.
You're kidding.
Yeah, I was in Calgary. I just dropped my daughter off at her summer camp. She had to go pick her up while I packed my bags real quick because I was leaving in a couple hours.
Right. So wife and kids stay home. Yeah.
Okay. I went there by myself. So and we played against 3 different countries: Georgia, Slovakia, and Montenegro. Georgia has Jaja Pachulia. Oh, damn. And Montenegro had what's his name from Orlando. Montenegro. I forget the center's name. Anyway. Okay. It's the center that plays for Orlando.
Currently.
Yeah.
Orlando's such a small market team. I should know that.
He's from Montenegro. But and they had him, and everybody else is EuroLeague, Euro Cup players. So it's high level basketball.
Super high level.
Yeah. We won one out of the 6. We should have won. We almost won 3. We should have beat Slovakia twice, and then we almost beat Montenegro.
Gotcha.
But
it's tough out there.
It's tough. We got 1 win, which was Albania's first win in, I think, since like the 50s. Or
so that's why they're sending out the citizenships. We need this W right now. Yeah. That's super funny. But what an opportunity! I know that I had a coach that coached me in Denmark, and he's the current Icelandic men's national team head coach. And they qualified for Eurobasket last year. And it was like by far the pinnacle of his career thus far. Like it was like
it's high privilege.
It was like he said it changed his life like having a kid. Like it was that type of realization.
Now he can get better jobs anywhere around.
Right. I mean, and he's playing against top NBA guys, right? And there's no joke. So that must have been crazy from a celebrity standpoint, but probably nothing compared to your last season in Lithuania playing with the Ball brothers. Yeah. That must have been another level of celebrity, if you will, right?
Yeah, that was cool.
So how did you end up in Lithuania from I guess there's a couple years in between there, so you're playing an Albanian national team, you're playing around Europe, Lithuania for a large portion.
I was in Lithuania for a half a season. Then I went to Poland and Germany.
Right. And then
you back to Lithuania this last year.
Right. And you had a brief stint in the NBL.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I almost forgot. Yeah.
I was there for a couple of days and shipped up, shaped out.
Yeah. I was at the time, we were number 1 in the league for the St. John's Newfoundland team.
The Edge.
The Edge, St. John's Edge.
Gotcha.
And, yeah, my good friend Carl English is the
Canadian legend.
Canadian legend.
Yeah.
One of the best shooters to ever do it.
Yeah.
Probably the best shooter to ever do it out of Canada.
So you went from St. John's Edge, a relatively new league, no knock on them. Carl English is a legend, and I've actually heard they've had a great organization over there just starting.
It's the best in the league.
Right.
It's the best in the league.
So,
hands down.
But I mean, regardless, still a fairly a league in its infancy to playing with people who were literally the pinnacle of basketball, at least in pop culture.
I would say they are the number 1 talking basketball, or probably
still, arguably, in the news, absolutely.
News.
I mean, for those that don't know, I mean, Zoe with the Lakers and Melo Jello, they transformed. I mean, I guess maybe it was timing, maybe it was a business plan, maybe it was Lavar. We all know Lavar Ball. If you don't, you get off this podcast, man. Go to YouTube, figure it out.
Yeah, you should know him. He's in everything.
You should know him, and you can get BBB socks, you can get BBB backpacks, you can get BBB tampons at this point. Rims, whatever you want. You want a BBB AC unit, we got you.
Yeah, they probably sell that too. Who knows?
Did you know that going into signing with that Lithuanian team?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was maybe a little bit of strategic planning as well?
Yeah, you can say that a little bit. Like I had offers to other teams as well. And when I left St. John's, I came back to Vancouver.
Right.
And I was here for maybe 2 weeks, a little over, almost 3. And I had a few teams in Lithuania that was offering, and a team in Greece was offering, and a team in France, second division in France, which is Pro B.
Yeah.
And so one of the top teams, which was Lech Kabelis in Lithuania, was offering their Euro Cup team. And they're in the last stages of Euro Cup. I think it was they made it to the second round. I could have caught like the last game or something like that. But then they're in contention to fight for a championship in the Lithuanian league. So it was either out of them or Vytautas, which is the team that the Balls played for.
See, I'm glad you said that name because I didn't actually know how to say it.
Yeah, it's Priene Vytautas.
Vytautas. Okay, so I'm gonna go with that. That's good because I know everyone in the basketball world has seen that logo and seen that name, and you don't hear that name anywhere, but you see the logo everywhere. So I know people know it. I just know that no one's saying it because no one wants to take that risk. So you end up there, and what was the team like?
The team was a mess. We'll just say it just like that.
Okay.
Because nobody was getting along. You know what I mean? Like, I would say it was a lot of jealousy towards the Ball brothers. You know, from all the local Lithuanian players. So, trying to bring everybody together, I think that was something that also had me come there. You know what I mean? Me being a mentor to Melo and Jello. And also being that I played in the league for 6.5 seasons already in Lithuania.
You knew the landscape. You were very,
I knew everybody. I even played with a few of the guys before that was on the team currently. Got you. So super well integrated. And so I thought maybe I can change the atmosphere in the gym, and that's pretty much what me and my agent were thinking about, and also the coaches. They wanted me to come in there and kind of like bring everybody together. But it might have been just a little bit too late, and some guys, it was just they didn't want to make it work.
Right.
And that's the reason why our team wasn't as successful as we should have been. But we had a good team. We had great pieces. It was just we couldn't work as a unit.
Couldn't work together, yeah. I mean, they put up numbers. I mean, there was numbers coming out of there for sure. People were having great individual performances.
For sure.
There was a crowd. I mean, I know Ball's Life sent over camera crews and maybe games that weren't televised and broadcast before were now being broadcasted. And
millions around the world were watching.
Which is wild. And, you got the BBB logo everywhere. I mean, as a Westerner, we're over here thinking like, did Lavar buy the team? Did he buy the arena? Did he buy the coach? Did he buy everything? What's going on here, right? And we always think as soon as you hear, oh yeah, he went pro, we just think, oh yeah, pro in Europe. That's how ignorant we really are. No, so there's NBA, and then there's pro in Europe, and then there's pro in China, and there's pro in
everywhere.
Australia or whatever. We there's a couple places we think of, and we just think pro. Blanket statement. So far from the truth, right? This team, how do you say it?
Vitatis.
Vitatas is was not a Euro Cup team.
No, they used to be.
Okay.
They were a Euro Cup team maybe 4 seasons ago.
So a little bit removed, not necessarily at the pinnacle of European basketball. And I mean, as a coach and a former player and just a junkie of basketball, I'm looking at that and I'm kind of thinking, as someone who has a little bit of experience in European basketball, I'm thinking, I don't know what level that is. Because you're only watching the highlights. Games are being streamed at all weird times of night. I'm not a super pop guy, so I'm like, whatever. Yeah, it's cool, but I'm gonna watch these highlights and whatever it may be. And this guy's a 16-year-old kid balling out over there, and you know the stories about Ricky Rubio and all that, starting super young, Luka, and it happens for sure. So, but I'm a little skeptical, and I'm just thinking, is this really a pro level? And obviously it was, but it wasn't the pinnacle of European basketball, so to speak. Probably far from it. But the way it was perceived in the Western world was crazy. It was like that arena, that small little arena, got stamped as, oh, this is what European basketball looks like.
Yeah, and it's not like Vitatis has had some great teams in the past. That I've seen and played against. And they played at the Euro Cup level before, which Euro Cup is the third highest level in the world. Yeah. NBA,
behind EuroLeague.
NBA, EuroLeague, then Euro Cup. Yeah. And Vitatis used to be Euro Cup. Yeah. You know what I mean? And this past season, of course, they didn't play in any other champions leagues besides the Big Baller Brand Challenge. You know what I mean? That's a league that Lavar created. And there were some teams that was Division II teams, but we also played in a tournament where it was all Division I teams from different countries. You know what I mean? So it was pro teams, no doubt. And the LKL, the Lithuanian League, is a high level.
It's a great league.
It's a great league, one of the top leagues in Europe. But but the way it was perceived in the U.S., people they were knocking the Lithuanian League. Even guys like Stephen A. and all those guys, they don't know what's going on.
Yeah, well, they have no idea, no experience, right? I mean,
they don't know anything.
Even that, I mean,
about Europe anyway.
About Europe and about the culture. I mean, even in that. You go to, I spent some time in Malaga and checked out the EuroLeague team down there, caught a couple games, and that fucking building is electric. Yeah. I've never been in a sporting atmosphere like that. I never went to a soccer game over there, but all the sports events I've attended have been in North America, except for those experiences at basketball games in Europe. And that was the pinnacle for me. That was like, I've never seen passionate fans like that. I've never seen. It's a religion. Yep. It is a 1,000% a religion.
People popping fireworks in the gym, like it's
in the gym.
In the gym,
there's fires in the gym. And that's no word of a lie, right? Like the antics,
receipt rolls everywhere. Like it's
just crazy. But that's how it kind of got. There was a blanket statement. I guess that's just how media is, and that's how it goes. But
and everybody's trying to knock down LeVar Ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean he was a villain. He was a great villain. Yeah. And I think maybe he's changed that perspective a little bit, a tad. People see him more of a businessman trying to do his and get his, but he was definitely a villain for the public, even though I'm sure that probably wasn't correct. I mean, I don't know. Definitely, I don't know LeVar. Was it correct?
LeVar is the most genuine person you can meet, for sure.
Genuine in what way?
He'll give you the shirt off his back. Like he's one of those guys. If he sees somebody that's in need of help, he's gonna help them.
Wow.
Like that's just the type of person he is.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I'll give you an example. Like Nick is Lonzo's bodyguard. Okay. Security guard, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? But like this was a kid, when he was a kid, he was around 13 years old, I think, when LeVar first met him. Lonzo's 6 or 7 months at a time right now. And he was straight from Russia. Him and his mom just moved to Cali, and he wanted to play basketball. And LeVar was a trainer at the time, and found that that he needed somebody to mentor, and that's when LeVar stepped in, and he's been with him ever since. Wow! And now he works for LeVar, and he has his own company now where he wants to be an A-list bodyguard or security.
So you put him on.
You put him on. You know what I mean? But he's family. He's been like, it was a kid from Russia. Yeah. That he just met, and he ended up training them, and he's been around the family ever since. Wow. So that's the type of person that LeVar is. It's just like with this JBA league, it's another route that he's given kids to play professional basketball.
Right. People don't look at it that way. People look at it as that's a route that he's taking to make money.
He doesn't care about that.
He's probably not making that much money off it either.
No, definitely. Well, I don't know about that, but
well, I'm just saying, like, I don't know what those ticket prices are.
He's not making money off the tickets. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Majority of that is making money off online.
Yeah.
Like people are watching the games. Okay, if they're not people in the stands, there's people watching online.
Yeah,
that's where he gets all
for sure.
But there's a lot of people watching at the games too now. It's been building, but every league starts out like that.
But he did that out of a necessity of, or what you're saying is that he did that out of a necessity of, these kids need an opportunity. We talked about the NCAA earlier. These kids need an opportunity to put food on the table because basketball is not water polo. You know what I mean? Basketball is not tennis. It's not golf. And that's no knock on them. But, there's typically underprivileged people that play the sports like soccer. It's very similar, right?
For sure.
So giving those kids that are talented might not have an opportunity, giving them a chance to make, I don't know what the contract is. What do they make a month?
Anywhere from $3 to $10 grand.
$3 to $10 grand.
More than the G League.
That's amazing.
That's why they're changing the league, the rules for the G League and for high school players to go back to the NBA.
That's going to have serious repercussions, right? That's going to change the landscape of everything.
It's changing everything.
Hopefully it changes the narrative of Lavar as a villain.
He gives 60% of jersey sales to the player.
And
who does that?
So in contrast, the NBA gives...
I don't know what the NBA gives, but it's nowhere close to that. I
have like a 10% figure in my mind. Maybe that's ridiculous.
Most of it is going straight to the league.
Straight to the league. That's straight profit.
The player will get something, whatever's in the contract.
He got flack for that as well. He got flack for taking 40%.
They're going to find something to talk crap about him. What I mean? He won't win at anything. Well, he's winning at everything, but when it comes to the media, they're going to try to bring him down a little bit.
Yeah. So you were on the was it a reality TV show, if you will? I can't imagine you're on reality TV. I have not seen the episodes. I
was at a couple of them.
I got to see them, but you were on Ball in the Family. How was that? Because you must have had cameras coming in everywhere. Following your personal life, you were again a leader of the team that they're on, one of the veteran. How were you perceived, and how was Lavar perceived? What was the look of that TV show?
Well, the cameras was there all day, every day.
All day, every day.
Like when you're walking in the city, when you were at practice, when we're at games, everywhere. In the hotel, because we all stayed in the same hotel. It was a spa, and you know what I mean. So. Because in the city or the town, they call it a village, really. But it's one of the smallest towns in Lithuania.
You're kidding.
And there's not many places to stay.
Okay.
And I was supposed to be in my own house, like I normally am in my contracts, but I came so late, and they couldn't find a place in this small town.
So they put you up in a spa.
So they put me in the spa where the balls were at, which is I didn't mind that at all. So,
right.
But like if you were Lavar or whatever right now, and we're talking, there's always going to be this little microphone coming up.
You're kidding. All the time.
All the time. We're in the games. We're anywhere eating. It's everywhere. Like they have the same camera crew that they have for the Kardashians.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
So that was all That was all network. Who?
It's Facebook.
What?
Yeah.
Facebook produced it.
Yeah.
They put that money behind it. Got that social media money. That's some scary shit right there. Come on now.
Every 3 weeks he's getting a.
Those royalties are coming in.
I ain't saying any numbers, but
just notice
he's getting some M's every 3 weeks.
There's some decimals there. There's some commas there. Excuse me. There's some serious zeros there.
Yeah.
That's
he's got one more season with them before he's gonna make his own rules about what's gonna happen. And if Facebook doesn't agree, then he's gonna find someone else.
Insider. Yeah, I got you. That's how he is, I guess. How much of a relationship do you still have with those guys? They've gone through some stuff. You've known them for
3 months over there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So a year or so now, a little bit more than that. There was a mania. There was a Ball family fever. Like, if you're anything into sports, that was the Kardashians to you. Like that's no joke.
Don't tell Lavar that. He doesn't like when people call them.
Sorry,
Kardashians.
listen. You know what? In all due respect, Lavar, in terms of popularity, you were absolutely there. Intellectually or any other scale you want to use, that's up to you. But they were at that pinnacle in terms of popularity, right? Yeah. And not to say that they're not at a pinnacle now, because they're still pretty damn popular.
That'll never stop.
That will never stop. They've maybe it's calmed down a little bit. So you've seen them over this transition.
I want to say that. I don't know. There's always something new.
I don't know. The JBA popped it off a lot too. You know, like they've been making moves so heavy, and you know they're on Big Boy Neighbor in the Neighborhood.
There's moves behind those moves. Like you got to know what's. I know so much that's gonna be happening that it's unbelievable.
Right.
You know, because I've known about this JBA before it even came to JBA. I've known about the JBA balls, the BB balls, before they even said that it was gonna be their own balls for the JBA.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they got movies that's coming out that's gonna be about their life. They're
in every we call it vertical integration. So you're in every level of production. Yep. And like for instance, if I'm Lavar, I'm owning this laptop. I'm owning this microphone. Yep. This has got my logo on. This is BBB water right now. He
doesn't want any middlemen. He wants everything.
This is the BBB notepad, all that stuff, right? Yeah. Which must be crazy, first off, if you're him. But from a son perspective, from if you're Zoe, Mello, Jello, these guys seem super, super composed for who their father is. I'm talking to you. I know were a mentor to them. Is that something you advise them on, or?
Oh no, they've been on interviews talking about their dad. You know, I mean, it's nothing new to them. That's how their dad's personality has always been.
Right.
And the same thing that you see on TV is how he is everyday life.
Yeah.
He's this electrifying, just energetic. You know, I mean, charismatic person. Like just talk. He calls me R, right? So, and.
Because Rashaun is just too many syllables. I ain't got that time. You know?
he nicknamed me right when I met him. Right when I first met him, I'm walking straight into the gym, and then he's giving me a big handshake, hugging me, like I've known him for forever. You know what I mean? Like that's the type of person he is. You know what I mean? Anybody that's around his boys is family. Is how he treats it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he doesn't. His circle's very tight knit. He doesn't let anybody from the outside get in there. So like, the boys that. When it comes to their dad, they've seen it every day. That's just how it is. You know what I mean? So,
I mean, they balled out a little bit. I know they got that Rari. I know they kind of spent a little. You know, they're indulging a bit, but their personalities don't seem self-destructive. No, you know what I mean? They're not. I know. Listen, if I had that much money and I was that young, I'd probably be in some trouble. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking BYU trouble. I'm talking real trouble. You know what I mean? So that could have some serious implications. But are you still in contact a lot with them helping them? I know Jello went through and was anticipated to get drafted and ended up not getting drafted. And I'm sure that was a process and an event as well. Are you still kind of part of the ball in a family, or?
Yeah, Lavar texted me the other day, just saying what's up, and then he wanted me to send a message to Curvin. That played with us in Lithuania, you know what I mean? And then just talking about what we're going to do in the future.
Yeah.
But and then with the boys, I mean, I seen Mello dunking in one of his games. I was like, so you're getting up there now. And Mello's sending me text messages and videos of him going between the legs and everything like that. Yeah. So I mean, I talk with them from time to time. We're not on the phone talking on a daily basis or anything like that. But
still, though, I mean, that's big time, and it's got to be gratifying for you because, again, Hawaii, you say west side of Hawaii?
Yeah.
West side of Hawaii, Div 2, nope. JUCO, okay. BYU, cool. Probably got a little bit of clout there. To Romania, where I'm not hating on Romania. I dated a Romanian for a year. She's awesome to this day. Well, but like, it's not the greatest place, right? Like, it's not.
Romania is different.
It's in the Eastern Bloc, and it's still recovering in a major way. So. And then you fast forward down the line. I mean, all the places that you played at: Poland, Lithuania, Romania. Am I missing something? I know I am.
Romania, Ukraine, Lithuania, Poland, Germany. Albania.
All of these places, like you're not in Greece, you're not in Turkey, you're not in Spain, you're not in France, so to speak, in these top leagues where it's a popularized country. You might have higher social status.
Yeah.
So that must have been gratifying for you after 11 years. Grinding at this thing to like, I'm sure at 11 years you could look back on it and say, I had a great career. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you do say that, but just to get that cherry on top of like, oh yeah, now I'm part of something bigger. You know what I mean? Like now, like I'd noticed just from hanging out with you and coaching with you and playing with you, like you would never know. And I totally was blindsided by it, but we're walking in the street, people recognize you.
Yeah.
Right. Like we go to basketball courts. It's like, oh shit, I'm about to play against you, but can I get a picture real quick? I know you're about to whoop my ass, but can I get a picture with you before you whoop my ass? You know what I mean? That's crazy to me, right? So just to get that level of, and you don't seem like a guy that you care about it, but it had some level of you had to been like, that's nice.
It's cool. What drove me always, like I told you earlier, was playing at the highest level possible.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like what I've always played for is respect. So money comes with the territory. If you're good, you're gonna make money. If you're good at anything you do, you're gonna make money. There's no way around it. If you're good at something, people are gonna
pay you to do it.
They're gonna come to you. They're gonna pay you to do whatever it is that you do well. So I mean, that's the reason why I didn't care. You know what I mean? I didn't care about the money. It's not what drives me to be successful.
Right.
Respect and experience is what I play for.
That's what you go for.
That's what I play for, and that's what's going to get me to where I'm going to go next, and whoever is going to be around me in the future. I can still play right now, of course, but I'm thinking about I can get nothing more from being a player. I've been there, done that, and I've done everything that I can possibly do. I can't go to Euro Cup or Euro League anymore, or the NBA. You know what I mean? I'm too old just to be frank about it. You know what I mean? And with my body, I'm too old. It's not that you're too old, but for me, I feel like I can't get back to the level that I was at.
You got some years under you for sure.
I got some mileage on me, so I'm looking forward to what I'm going to do in the future, and that's what I'm focusing on now. And whoever's going to be around me for that, the respect is what is going to bring you. That's what drives me, and what's going to bring my team together in the future for what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah. So I want to cut right there. We'll take a little break here and go into where your coaching is going to go and your methodology and all that shit, and where you're at now versus all that shit, because that was a lot. How long was that?
We're at an hour and a half.
Yeah, so we could literally go for another hour and a half. I'm literally trying to cut you off right now because I
and naturally, however you want to.
No, so we cut at a good time. We cut at a good time. I gotta drink my water because I didn't have it.
I also think that we've gone a good it was an hour and a half, but that was maybe with like 10 minutes at the beginning of before I started. Before we actually started.
Yeah, honestly,
I hear this GM talk here.
My goal was between an hour and a half and 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of filling it out, it's a matter of how we fill it. I just want to get from you, I want to get where you're at now. I want you to, and maybe not plug your shit, but and what we're doing or whatever, but talk about it. In a sense, and how you're approaching it. And I don't want to, because the route that you're gonna go there, I know because I'm gonna go there, is the state of Vancouver basketball. So I want to try to avoid, I think, or just like, I don't know. I don't know. Like personally, I don't know how to approach it because it's like I'm so critical, but. People look at it like, oh, I'm attacking something. I'm fucking critical of everybody.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a nice dude, but I'm critical as fuck.
For sure.
And I don't even care. I'm critical of my girlfriend. I'm critical of my mom. Like nobody is safe. And so, and something like that, where people always ask my opinion or whatever, I'm like, this is bullshit, and this is the reason why it's bullshit, and I'm gonna fire shots right at it.
I'll try to keep my mouth shut about
exactly. So, but I mean, I'm not trying to tell you to keep your mouth shut. That's not what I'm trying to say. But
I don't want to talk shit about anybody, because then I know it's gonna come right
exactly
back
right. And so I have, my thing is very much peace, love, positivity, all that bullshit. Because I say bullshit, but that's like really truly my heritage. And Hawaii is actually kind of, I don't know exactly what, but I mean, I know my sister lives there, and I've been there once when I was a kid, and it was very much that. And
definitely.
she emanates that all the time. So, but I don't know that culture. So, anyway, so yeah, we'll start back up. Is he rolling? You rolling? Okay, my bad. So anyways, we start off with, again, where you were at in terms of helping out the Ball brothers and all that, and transition. You said it was a nice transition into what you've got going next. So you're in great physical shape, not just because of biceps, but you actually got cardio. You know what I mean? Like you're still in a place where you could play, you could hoop up, you could lace up, and I've seen you lace up. I've laced up with you, where you can go and play at a high level right now.
For sure.
So what's stopping you from your agent calling you and be like, Rashaun, by the way, FC Barcelona wants you?
Well,
maybe that changes things.
Yeah, that probably would change things. I'd lace him back up for a job like that for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, it took me a while to kind of persuade Solis, my agent, that that I was done. You know, because before the season was over, he was like, Sean, don't talk like that. He just, go back home, work out, and this and that, and then we'll see what happens next.
Right.
You know what I mean, he thought I was
what happens next.
Yeah, he thought I was just talking out of my ass, like as I think I'm getting older, or this and that.
Right.
And so I don't know. Maybe
did you know your wife
crisis.
was pregnant at that time? Did you know she was pregnant?
Yeah, right before I left to Lithuania is when we found out she was pregnant.
Okay, gotcha.
So yeah, so I was telling him that I was thinking about retirement and I want to go into the next phase of my life. You know what I mean? And he was like, well, I'm just gonna. You can keep thinking about that, but I'm still gonna ask teams, around, and
I'm still gonna work for you
and work for you. You know what I mean? See what I can get, and then if you don't want it, if you're still thinking about retiring, then okay.
Yeah.
And so he was still thinking that no matter what, I was gonna take whatever job that came that I got interested in. But I think it's when that retirement video came out. That was
Hawaii. Good look too.
Yeah,
that looked really good.
Yeah, it was amazing.
That was super well done, well spoken, and it's the narrative around that was like
definite.
Awesome.
Yeah, I really appreciate them for that. That was amazing. So that was a good send off.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So when he saw that, that's when it really rung in him. He's like, okay, Sean's serious about this.
Damn. Damn.
Yeah.
So is there like a contract you got to terminate there, or is that just like no?
No, when it comes to agents, or at least in the basketball world anyway, you have to give them at least a 2 weeks notice.
Yep.
And
it's like eviction.
Yeah, But for the most part, you sign yearly, and there's some agents where they'll try to book you in for 5 to 10 years. But in this business, when you're playing overseas in Europe and everything like that, or I don't know, maybe in any other business, probably the same way, you don't want to lock yourself in for a long period of time. Because what happens if that guy he's not working for you anymore? You're not a high level player that he thought you were going to be.
You don't sign 5 years. You don't sign 5-year NDAs. You
don't sign your life away.
There's stuff that you don't do. Well, if you know that you don't do.
Well, actually, with me and Solly, it's like I signed one contract with him, and this is when I first met him.
Okay.
And then after that, he really isn't even like legally my agent, because I never signed another contract with him. Me and him was just our relationship just built into that, where it was just all trust.
That's amazing.
And I have agents, even still to this day. An agent contacted me the other day saying that he had a job for me, and I'm like, I told him, did you know I'm retired? He was like, oh. And I was like, yeah, well, I'm not playing anymore, so thank you anyway. And I was like, well, what job is it?
But which club is it with? Is it a warm country, or are we going back to that frozen backboard in fucking Lithuania?
So, I mean, a bunch of agents contact me every year. During this time, agents always contact me. Players also ask me if I can hook them up with my agent or if I know anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, there's always going to be agents that's going to come around and ask if you want representation, because they know that you're a good player and they can find a job for you. They can make money off it.
Business. No. I mean, so with that in mind, where you're at and turning down money is a hard thing to do. That's a skill I don't know if I've mastered yet. But so then what's next for you? I mean, you're not in Hawaii. Maybe there's something to be said about that. But I mean, you're not staying. I know a lot of guys, when they go overseas with the club I was with in Denmark, we had some great players that were like, I'm going to take less money. I'm going to play less, even though I can play in a higher league. And I'm going to retire here and I'm going to live here, even though I'm from fucking Kansas or whatever it may be, because, they just cultivate that, community around them.
For sure.
So what stops you from hanging out in some small little village in Lithuania? Well, because it's Lithuania.
No, I could live in Lithuania. Lithuania is a great country. I mean, it's like my second home. I've actually lived there longer than the U.S. in the past 10 years.
Crazy.
You know what I mean? Like, I lived in Canada longer than I've been in the U.S. I'm in the U.S. Whenever I go back to the U.S., I'm in Hawaii, and I'm there for maybe 2 to 3 weeks out of the year.
Yeah.
And that's just to visit my family. And then other than that, I'm in my off seasons. Well, now it's permanent for me. I'm in Canada, either Calgary or Vancouver.
Yeah.
And then 9 months out the year, it could go longer depending on if my team makes playoffs. It could go to 10 months. I'm in Europe. So, I mean, Lithuania, I've grown accustomed to loving the place. I eat the food. I love it.
What is Lithuanian?
What is Lithuanian?
Yeah, like food. Like, are we?
Lots of soup, salads. They have your basic. Not a lot of beef. It's more pork over there.
Oh man, white food. Come on now. That stuff is.
There's no spice or anything like that.
There's no Jamaican jerk chicken. Like that. All that good stuff they just left behind. White people.
There's no Kahlua pig or anything like that.
Oh god.
But the food's good, man. I've been to over 30 countries, and I've tried food everywhere. So I mean, like Lithuania has some of the best food I've tried.
The food's good. The food's good. Nah, yeah. I hear you. So I mean, does it stack up to Richmond food?
I haven't really had it.
Too busy.
Yeah, I haven't really had the chance to really try many foods out there, even though there's lots of different restaurants.
There's a lot of spots.
And I'm sure I'll have a lot of time now to check out a lot of places to eat. That's for sure. But like, yeah, just Europe, I don't see myself living there permanently. I could go there to visit, for weeks at a time or a month if possible. But North America is definitely a place where I need to be living permanently.
Right. Nah, I hear you. I'm sure language is a thing too. But you're here. You're in Vancouver. Situated, wife, kid, another one on the way. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
What's next?
Well, now I'm trying to build up my company, Pro Prep Basketball Training.
Okay.
So, I'm starting to get around in the community, meeting families, meeting kids, you know what I mean? Just meeting people in the basketball world out here. Okay. So, and just pretty much grinding and starting out from the bottom, and just like how everything else that I've done, and just build myself all over again, create a new vision for myself that I have for where I want to be in the future, and hopefully, which I believe 100% that it will happen. And yeah, I just want to give back what I've learned over my whole 33 years of living on this earth and playing ball everywhere. I want to give back to the community, to the kids,
Sure.
And the rest of my youth that I have that I can play and be able to play at a high level. I want to be able to give it to the kids that I train, and also my own kids too.
Right. Yeah. You don't want to be the coach this is the thing with me too. I hate being a coach. It's like, we're going to do this drill, and Jimmy or Alex, can you run through it for them? Can you show them this footwork right here?
I hope that day never comes for me. I hope I can always be able to demonstrate.
That's always been a pet peeve for me too. And if I love to have competitions with the kids, or listen, if I lose, I'm gonna run that suicide, or I'm gonna beat you in the suicide, or whatever it may be, right? So you said Pro Prep Basketball Training. Is this a AAU program? Is this a training academy? Is this a school program? What is this? How would you describe this?
Well, like the kids that are in my class, like, or even kids that I hear in families when they talk about, like, I call my programs classes. You know what I mean? I don't like calling them camps.
Or sure.
Because I feel like what I'm trying to bring to the basketball community and culture over here, I want to be able to change the culture, and I want to teach basketball. So I think it's more of a school is the way that I'm approaching it. And I want to teach you not only the skills to play it, but I want to teach you how to actually play the game.
Right. The X's and O's.
The X's and O's, everything, you know what I mean? Because I'm a very strategic type of player, and I feel that, above skills, you have to have a high IQ, and you have to be able to read offenses and defenses and learn how to execute plays, and then the skills that you have is just a bonus to your game. I mean, of course, you have to learn how to, it's good to have athleticism or ball handling skills or being able to shoot. Those are all things that come with playing basketball.
Right.
But a lot of kids don't really know how to actually play the game. So that's, with my experience of playing, I want to be able to have kids at a younger age being able to think the game before they can actually play the game.
You know what I mean? You're flipping the system on its head a little bit.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And then as they continue to develop, of course, they're going to learn how to play. That's a given. Everybody is going to continue to learn.
There's a natural progression.
It's a natural progression.
Yeah, I got you.
But learn for coaches, especially at the younger ages, like the high school coaches and younger, like there's a lot of coaches that's never had the experience that I've had.
Absolutely.
And I think that's something that I bring that's different, where I've played at all levels. I played at the junior college level. I played at the Division I level.
Which is rare. Yeah.
And then 11 years playing professionally in all top leagues over Europe, all the way up to the Euro Cup, you know what I mean?
Right.
Third highest league in the world. Representing a national team. So I mean, it's a bunch of knowledge and experience that I can bring to the table that I feel that's what separates me from anybody else that's here and around the area that I'm at anyway.
Right.
And yeah.
So your methodology is a little bit different in terms of you're not just going in, okay, let's just aid this guy's athleticism and let's aid his skill development. Let's aid how he's playing the game. You're like, okay, I want to again, I want to have him think first. I want to have his mental space. I want to see how he's going to approach the game, how he plays the game. What's he like in timeouts? Does he understand X's and O's? Does he understand spacing? Does he understand angles and cutting angles and passing angles and stuff like that? Things that are nuances of the game and things that for many players come very much later. And that they wish they had. Because I guarantee for myself, probably for yourself, if you would have known and understand the passing angles and the nuances of the game as a 20-year-old, as a 19-year-old, 18-year-old, playing at JUCO, playing at BYU, that would be a distinct advantage.
For sure.
And but again, that's something that comes, but maybe it wasn't taught to you. So when you're reverse engineering the system, or call it system, or a way of coaching basketball at a youth level, where did this come from? Like, I mean, not to say you're not a genius, but genius is getting an idea out of nowhere. And most of us, I mean, that's, very, very, very small percentage of the population that do go about it that way. Everyone else we draw from things, and we learn from things, we influence from different cultures. And as someone that's probably, or has definitely played across the world and probably had a lot of influences, where did you pick this up, this idea of, okay, let's get them to think the game, rather than just play the game?
Well, I just think it's something that came to me because me as a young player, and then talking about it now, just like how you said, we wish that we'd have learned these things when we were younger. I think that's probably where I kind of came up with the idea. If it is an idea that somebody hasn't came up with, I'm sure it's not. But anyway, the way that I think about the game and approach it, I just feel that I don't want any other kids that's actually coming through my training and coaching, I don't want them to think the same way that I feel that I should have done when I was younger. You
don't want to have the same regrets.
Exactly. So I know what I should have done or learned at a younger age, but I didn't have somebody to teach me it. But now that I know what to do, I feel that it's my responsibility, anybody that's being coached by me, that I should be able to instill that in them at a younger age, so it'll be easier for them to move up the ladder in the basketball world. Because I've seen and I know a bunch of different, trainers / coaches that they don't think that way, and that maybe they don't know that they don't think that way. You know what I mean? So it's not their fault, but I just think that maybe there's just different ways of training these kids.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
A very open-minded approach.
Definitely. Just be open-minded. There's no right or wrong for sure. But I just always try to find different ways to teach the game. You know what I mean? But yeah, just basically I want to be able to instill the knowledge that kids will probably learn at a later stage of their careers, and I want them to learn it at an even younger stage.
I mean, there's kids that will be in a varsity situation or first year college situation, and coach will drop a play and he'll be using jargon, or he'll be, like the difference between a dotted line and a squiggly line. Like there's little things that you pick up on a board, and once you're 3 or 4 actions deep in a play, people get lost really easily. I know for me it was like, okay, once we're 3 or 4 actions, like shit, where's the 2? Where's the 1? Fuck, like is he in the corner? Did he drift up? I don't really know. And if I would have had that experience, like actually sitting down, drawing these things out, or having someone go through them with me, because, and no knock on the AAU coaches I've had, but I never had that experience of someone sit me down and be like, listen, these are the angles, this is the action, and we reverse it, we're going to do this action. And then, so you're a 2 guard, so I want you to learn 1, 2, 3, 4, and I want you to be aware of 5, because we might just put you there.
Definitely.
Because it's positionless basketball now as well. So, and that's one of the great things that people say about the greatest players. I mean, LeBron knows every position of every play of every team. I mean, there was an article about him talking to Patrick Patterson a couple years back when Toronto and Cleveland, I guess he's not in Cleveland anymore. Wow, that's weird to say. And neither is Patrick. But he said, listen, Patrick, when you come off that pin down right there on that horn set, you should really flare and less of a drift, because you have a better passing angle to DeMar who's coming down the lane. And Patrick's sitting there like, did you just explain my play to me, how to do it better to beat you? Yeah, but I'm just saying, this is what you should do. And that's insane. Like that level of knowledge, that basketball IQ, you're saying that's something that can be trained.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because with me, it took me experience. I had to be in actual games and, to learn it, because I didn't have somebody to sit me down and learn the X's and O's. And also the terminologies that you're using. There's a lot of kids that don't even know it.
Yeah. Everything I just said there might have just went over the head.
You know what I mean? Like, go to the 45, go to the elbow. You know what I mean? People probably looking at their arm.
Elbows,
you know what I mean?
He's talking about shooting my elbow. I was like, out too much. What is he talking about?
So when it comes to the X's and O's and trying to execute plays, a lot of kids don't know how to do it. And then when they're looking at the board, they're probably just looking at just their position.
Yeah.
But if they can actually learn every position, even if they don't play it, the 4 to 5, for one, you're going to be able to play numerous positions. Mm-hmm. So coaches love players who can play 1, 2, 3 different positions.
More time on the court.
More time on the court. You get more playing time. You get to do what you can do. If you only can play one position,
it's limited.
You're very limited, and especially if you're a point guard, you need to know everybody's position.
Right.
Like, it makes you a more valuable player, and it helps you it slows the game down for you, because now you can read where everybody has to be, where they need to be, and then you can start doing no-look passes and stuff, because you know for sure 100% that this person is going to be in that
That's
spot.
how the defense is going to react.
This is how the defense is going to be. You got to learn how to read the defenses and where the help side is coming from,
right,
and everything like that. So, and by knowing everybody and where they have to be and what they're doing, that's going to make you a better player. And the game will just slow
have
down
the coach have trust in you.
Exactly.
Right, and know that the ball can be in your hands.
Exactly.
I think that's a big thing for players in BC, players everywhere, really. When you're youth, the game goes so quickly, play by play. And the more you go, the older you get, and everyone can attest to this. And the game slows down. You start to understand angles. And I remember someone said to me when I was in Europe, pick and roll is a 5-man game, and I argued with them. I was like, if a pick and roll is a 2-man game, what the fuck are you talking about?
Actions everywhere happen.
There's actions everywhere, right? Because you're getting middle penetration, the baseline help, it comes down, and there's so many different angles to look at. But the only way that game ever slowed down for me, and I'm sure for other players that I coach, was just relentlessly playing and trying to be aware of actions and seeing them as they happen, and watching other film and seeing it as it happens there. But it's such a slow process. Learning the game. I mean, you talk to Coach K, and he'll tell you that he's still learning the game. You talk to Phil Jackson, he'll be like, "Man, I haven't figured this out yet."
The game changes every year.
That's crazy to me. But as a young person, when you're just trying to understand basic actions, there's natural tendencies for places where defense goes. There's kill zones, and there's stuff, the terminology we understand, but there's certain places where you want to get the ball and all this stuff. How do you teach that to a player? How do you sit down with a player and say, because there's so much, and there's one thing to say, okay, there's 3 kill spots on a court, or there's 3 gaps where the zone will shift, and that's one thing. But for the player to actually, truly be in that 2 position, in that 3 position, see it on the wing from his angle with the players that are right there, and say, oh, okay, I understand that if I take one dribble in and attract the D, then I can throw this certain type of pass right there. That type of stuff just is so slow to come. How do you make that process quicker?
It's preparation and repetition. It's just like learning how to dribble the ball or learning how to shoot from the 3-point line. You're not gonna learn it without high volume reps. You have to keep doing it over and over again. You have to beat it in your head. You have to make it like when I train and I'm doing between the legs into a crossover type of move. I would do this move and make the shot. I would have to make 20 in a row, let's say.
Right.
And I won't stop until I make 20 in a row. I'll probably miss 20, 30 shots before making that. Well,
yeah, you're going to miss some shots.
I'll miss some shots. I won't miss that much. That's a lot. Making 20, I'll probably shoot about 35 shots and make 20.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But that's how you build consistency. And it has to be over. You have to make something boring to where it gets so boring and easy, but you just do it over and over again. You beat it in your head that it just becomes second nature to you. Mm-hmm. And that's how it is with preparation, where it's scouting reports and everything that the coaches do for the players. Because if the players don't have the right scouting report and know what tendencies you can do, where they try to take away your strengths and lead you into your weaknesses, or how to guard you, or you know what I mean? If they're not prepared correctly or know where the help side needs to be coming from, then they're not ever going to learn it. So a lot of it relies on the coaching. And if the coaching can't if the coaching isn't good and they can't instill all that stuff, all these different ways of playing the game into their players, and the players is just they're an image of their coach. If the coach is shitty, then the players are going to be shitty. I don't care how good the players are. You might have one or two all-stars on the team that might drop 20 here and there or whatever, but if you're talking about a winning program, you got to have a great coach, a coach that can prepare his team and lead them through repetitions of the same thing over and over and over again until it just becomes second nature to these players, and that's what makes the game become easy for you. And if the coach doesn't do it, then that's the coach's fault, not the players.
Preparation.
It's the preparation.
Preparation. I mean, basketball is boring.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's
the same shit over and over again.
It's the loneliest sport in the world, right? Like, I mean,
I don't even get excited about dunks and shit anymore. I've seen them all. I've seen somebody shatter a backboard before.
Literally. So
yeah,
I mean,
I got it on my Facebook pic. One of my teammates shattered a backboard over somebody.
Right, and we've all seen the Shaq highlights and all that stuff too, right? I mean, it's like that stuff
Seen
happens, right? But the inquisitive nature of like, I guarantee that you haven't seen every play. I guarantee you haven't seen every angle because there's infinite angles.
For sure.
Right? So like that, when you get to a level of, I'll say mastery, where it's like you get over the hump of ignorance, right? Yeah. Where, I mean, I'm sure a lot of young men and women are there right now where it's like you've spent some time, maybe a couple years at a sport. I'm really good at this shit. Like, you know, I can get some buckets. Like, put me out there, I can score. I know how to play basketball. Yeah. Basketball is something I know. I may not know trigonometry, basketball. This is what I know. This is what I do. Right? And those are the JUCO guys, right? Yeah. But
had a few algebra classes.
Couple, whatever, right? And but if they make it past that stage of I know everything, because I feel like, or at least for me personally, there was a cliff I dropped off of. Mm-hmm. It was somewhere in Europe or just coming back from it, where it was like at a very young age, I was like, damn, I don't know jack shit about shit. I know 0.1 of 0.%.
For sure.
And that's just, and I'm not saying that's a knock on me. I'm just saying
I've had days like that too.
I'm too young to know. Yep. And that's in everything. Like we have a tendency, because we have egos, right? Mm-hmm. So getting over that hump and then having coaches that are over that hump and over the ego hump, that's a tough hump to be over, because you have to be vulnerable, right? Yep. You have to be in a place where you're like, okay, there's a bunch of people around me. You know, if I'm with good coaching staffs, or I'm in a good situation where I have good mentors around me, you know, there's a bunch of people around me that know way more than I do. If I've positioned myself correctly, and then I just have to completely tear myself down and start from zero every day. Like every session we go into, I'm at zero. I'm really trying to be at zero. Like this guy's doing a between the legs crossover, and I'm like, oh, shit, he angled the knee a different way. Like he contorted his hips something a little bit different. That's
when you start looking at the game different. You start reading body movements.
Exactly. Did I really understand what a between the legs crossover was?
Yeah.
Man, I learned a between the legs crossover in third grade.
Yeah.
Right. But did I really understand it? No.
Yeah.
But again, taking that approach, you're saying we need coaches.
It's definitely the coaches. The coaches are the ones who are giving the knowledge to the players. The players can only do so much. I mean, they're the ones that's doing all the work for sure. You know what I mean? And they're learning the game however they learn the game. Some people learn by watching YouTube videos and stuff. Right. You know what I mean? Like you can find many ways of learning how to play. Some people learn just by experience of playing at the Oval or something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. But if they're talking about learning at a high level, you got to have somebody to teach you the game. Mm-hmm. Even all the top players, the Marvin Bagleys and all these type of players, they're playing with and against and being coached by ex-players,
right?
Who've played in the European levels, played in the NBA back in the day. You know what I mean? They have coaches who've coached this person and that person. So like they're not getting to that level only by themselves.
Right.
A lot of them have the coaches that instill the right knowledge into them, and then they have all this God-given ability to go with it,
which is nice.
Which is the extra bonus, you know what I mean? So, but like, you know, I was watching some kids today, or training some kids today, where like they're doing like a between the legs move, you know what I mean? But they don't know how to actually position their legs and their feet towards the way that they're actually exploding to, or they don't know how to load up on their leg correctly, you know what I mean? They don't know which leg that they're pushing off, none of that.
None of that.
But you can see it, you know what I mean? Us as coaches, we can see it and look at it and know where they're messing up, but these kids don't know it. They think they're doing it right because they're going between the legs. Yeah. That's all they're focusing on, just dribbling the ball between the legs.
Between my legs, done.
No, done. The move's over. Yeah. But if you have a defender on, you ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or if you're dribbling to the left and you're dribbling with your right hand, you think you're dribbling to the left, but you're dribbling with your right hand. You don't have a defender on you. I'm making the pass, or I'm going in for the layup with my inside hand. But if you have a defender on you, They're
barbecue
beating that.
chicken. That's a dunk at the other end.
You know what I mean? So you gotta let these kids know, and hopefully it's at a young age, because you don't want them keeping those habits and building it over time. Because over time,
Things
the
get
older
worse
and
and
older
worse
they
and
get,
worse
it
and
gets
worse
worse
and
and worse and worse. And then it's a lot harder for you to try to develop both hands or learn how to pivot off both your feet. There's a lot of people at the professional level that don't even know how to pivot off both their feet.
Or creatures of habit, right?
You know, you've seen one of the drills I've done. I'm a huge guy on pivoting. I'm footwork. You know what I mean? Like footwork, that's the first thing I teach. Body movement. Learn how to shift your body weight.
Thing. It's the most embarrassing thing I've seen. That's the most embarrassing thing.
And this is a university kid that we're training that I had doing it. He couldn't do it with his opposite foot. Pivoting? He's not even dribbling. He's pivoting.
Yeah. You're moving your foot from one area of the floor to another. You can't do it.
This is a leading scorer for his university, everybody. Anyway, we're not saying any names, but you know what I mean? It's pivoting, you know, footwork. And it's huge. Footwork goes into everything. Shooting, dribbling, running.
Yeah.
Layups, like everything.
But if you can get by, I mean, again, I'm a big subscriber to like SWOT analysis, you know, strengths, weaknesses, you know, and it's just like, if you can get by on your strengths, then you're going to get by on your strengths. Yep. You're naturally going to go towards the path of least resistance. Yep. And that takes a coach to be like, okay, yeah, cool. I get that you can do that. Like literally we're with youth groups, and it's like, yeah, you can do a right hand layup. I get it. Or, you know, with more advanced players, it's okay. Yeah, you can do negative pivots, but can you do aggressive pivots? Yep. And what's the difference? And why would you do this? Right. Yep. You get to that level where you're like, fuck, I don't know anything about this.
Like, I'll give you an example. Like if first of all, when I was playing professionally or even in university, I never play with anybody who isn't in the university level and it's a structured setting, or they have to be professional. Like I don't put myself in a position where I can get injured off of playing bullshit basketball. Yeah. So if you're not playing at a high level, I don't play with you. You know what I mean? That's how everybody approaches the game. If they're playing at a high level, they don't risk injury, right? So if I'm playing at the Oval or something like that, and I'm playing against any regular guy, first of all, it's easy. You know what I mean? And I can do whatever I want, and I can go to my strengths all day if I wanted to. But the way that I look at it whenever I'm playing against somebody who I know is not on my level, I'm always going to I go into the gym every day knowing what I'm going to work on. Right. Like I'll go into the gym and I'll only do step backs on somebody all day. And that's the only move that I'm going to do. I won't penetrate. I won't use my strong hand. I'm going to do everything left-handed. And that's how I'll try. My defender don't know it. Yeah. But you know what I mean? I'll fake like I'm going to go right all the time, but I'm always going to go back to my left and do whatever it is, whatever move that I want to do that I'm trying to work on. You know what I mean? But a lot of people don't think like that. You know, when they get in a playing setting, even if, first of all, playing pickup ball is bullshit. You should work on your own game first. And if you have time for pickup, it's like a reward for you. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? That's how you should treat it. Because if you get in all the bad habits of pickup ball, you turn into a shitty player. You turn into a pickup ball player. You pick up bad habits from pickup ball. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're playing with rat ball. But that's how not a lot of players think like that. They get into pickup games and they know there's players that can't guard them, and they're still sticking to their strengths. You can beat these guys off your strengths. We all know you can. Do something that you're not good at. Be honest with yourself. And even when you're training, be honest with yourself. What am I terrible at? Or what do I need to work more at? Yeah. Don't work on the same thing that you know that you're good at, that you can do on a daily basis with your eyes closed. Do something that you know that you mess up all the time in the game, or you're scared to do. But that's tough. In the game. That's tough. That's tough to be honest with yourself right there. I mean, Alan Stein, Pure Sweat Basketball, it says honesty plus consistency equals results. So like being in the gym, how many times have you been in the gym and maybe you're shooting 500 shots or making 500 makes in a day, whatever your number is, I don't care, right? And I don't ever have a number. I just go in and hit my whatever it is, stuff, right? Sure. And you're warming up and you're thinking 25 shots. I'm gonna hit 25. I'm gonna make 5 swishes at each spot or whatever. How many times have you been like at 4 and you know the ball bounced to the next spot and you're like, I'm gonna call that a wrap. I'm gonna call that 5 and I'm gonna hit the next one. You know what I mean? And just having that honesty of being like, okay, no, does this rep actually matter? Like I'm talking grand scheme of things. Does this one warm-up rep, does it matter in the grand scheme of things? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say that if you do take this one warm-up rep out of the 500 or you don't take it, I don't think it's going to have a huge effect. But what will have a huge effect is you're training a muscle in your brain. Mm-hmm. Like every time you quit or every time, and this is in life, like I employ this in every aspect of my life where it's like every time you're late, every time you don't follow through, every time you quit at 4 when you said you're going to 5, every time you run a sprint and you walk that last 1 meter, you're employing a mechanism in your brain that's telling you that your brain is a muscle. You're training it. Training yourself to be a quitter.
every time you do that.
Like it's funny you bring that up because again, I was with some kids today, and they didn't make the time or make enough shots in the time that we gave them. So we had them run up and down sprints, and a couple kids wasn't touching the line. You know what I mean? They're cheating themselves and cheating everybody else, you know what I mean? Just so they can stay within the pack and make the time.
Make the time.
So after the practice, I told them, I was like, you guys, you know, I didn't mention any names, of course, I didn't point anybody out. But I was like, whatever you do, it doesn't matter in basketball or whatever sport and life, don't quit or don't start something you can't finish. Because there's always going to be somebody watching you. And you never know. It can be a scout in the stands, and they see that you quit on your team. You're not playing to the last whistle, or you didn't touch the line on a suicide. You know what I mean? And you think you got away with it, but you didn't. You know what I mean? There's always somebody watching, so always finish something that you start.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So
it's huge. It's huge.
And that's the kind of mindset I've had throughout my whole life, and especially in basketball. Like when it comes to me finishing something, I don't care if I'm dead tired.
Yeah.
If I have to make 10 shots in this one move, I'm going to make 10 shots, and I'm not stopping until I do it.
Yeah, it's a great mechanism. If you have that, if you've trained that muscle in your mind for me, it's whenever, for instance, people have a hard time running, for instance, or they have a hard time like going to the gym every day. To me, it's in order to train that muscle in my head, every time I think of it, or I think of an idea, to me, I've executed on that idea. So as soon as I think, okay, I'm gonna hit a 10K run, or okay, I could probably do 15. I've never done 15, but I could do 15K. As soon as I think I can do 15K, that's now the standard. It's not like, okay, on my phone, I need to, tell me to hit 15K. It's like, okay, I've thought it. I know I'm capable of it. Now let's just execute. So the work is done in the mind, and then the physical is just
you got to play mind games with yourself.
It's just like you have to lie to yourself. Yeah. And it's the same thing. I mean, I've been in. We used to have these. Gary Felas used to come, NCAA scouts and stuff like that. Used to come to, or they still do, come to the Lanley Event Center, and we do these all-star, like select, recruiting or whatever, coaches and all that shit. And it was like, I'll never forget. I don't know who it was. It was some JUCO Division II coach in Washington, and he was just speaking to us, and he said, listen, I won't recruit you off the strength of you not touching a line. I won't recruit you. I will completely, I will put a line through your name if it's an inch, if it's a millimeter. Like if I can notice you not touching a line, you're done. Yeah. And that's just because I can't trust you as a person. I can never trust you as a person. Sure. That's savagery. First off, that's savagery, but I completely subscribe to that.
You can tell a lot about a person by just the small things like
absolutely.
that.
And
it's huge.
Why would you throw away a spot? Why would you throw away a university roster spot off of this much? And I tell guys, when we run lines, I'm like, listen, no names, but you know that you didn't hit that line. So you're only lying to yourself. And let's think about it. Are you less tired because you didn't run this much?
No.
Fuck no.
No.
Not at all. No. You would never even think of that. That's less than the length of your toe.
Why not touch the line?
So what about you said, oh no, fuck it.
He's a quitter. You know what I mean? So and I don't want anybody, I'm not going to war with anybody like that. You know what I mean? So the way I was as a player, I'm like one of the best teammates you can have. You know what I mean? Even if it's my fault or even if it's the other person's fault, I don't know, they made a bad pass and I couldn't catch it or something.
Yeah, it's your fault.
My bad, fellas.
That's
I'm
a
going to catch
point guard for you.
You know what I mean? I'm going to make sure I'm always uplifting my teammates, and I'm always trying to do the right thing and try to, pretty much just do the right thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So for me as a coach, I bring that same thing now. To being a coach, and I'm not going to have a player he makes a bad pass and he's like,
you didn't move to it.
You should have caught that or this and that, you know what I mean? Or he didn't, teammate didn't box out or something. He starts yelling at him. I'm not picking that player on my team. You're not making my team.
That's it.
You know what I mean? If I see players like that, you're done. You're not playing for me anyway.
Yeah.
You play for somebody else, it'll be a problem for them.
You might got talent, but that's it.
You know what I mean? But just the little small things like that can go a long way with a lot of different coaches. You could miss big opportunities because of that.
Small things equal big opportunities, no doubt. And just the way you communicate, or the way you say what's up, the way you high five.
Yeah.
That's, for me, coaching, playing, reffing. I'm a certified ref as well. Like,
You do it all.
hey man, it's good money. If you want to become a ref, just holler at me. It's like $40-$50 a game. Just let me know. Right. Anyways,
I might.
I would hate that if I'm coming off the floor or I'm sitting on a bench and someone comes off the floor, stand up, give them a high five. I hate this one.
Oh man,
and for people that are listening, that's the I'm not gonna turn my hand and give you a high five. That's I'm just gonna touch the back of my hand to your palm, because
I get that. I'm pulling your chair out from behind.
That's it. I can't stand that. That's like, there's certain, and I employ that in life. I mean, we had some podcasts before, and Kev made me out to be looking like a psycho, but just with level of discipline and stuff. But if I'm looking for people in my life, and I'm always trying to surround myself with amazing people that are way better than I am, and more disciplined and more genuine and more humane and all that stuff. If you come over to my house, for anyone that's ever coming over to my house, if I look at your shoes, I'm not talking about wearing your shoes, taking your shoes off. That's whatever. Okay, different cultures, whatever. If I look at your shoes and I see the back of those fucking heels are stomped on, do you know what I'm saying? Like, hold on, I'm gonna take off my shoe right now. Let's see. This one right here. If you sure got one of these going on, it's a wrap for you. I'm done with you, because that means that you didn't take the time, unlace those motherfuckers right there, and put them on. And I know you're lazy.
I can honestly say I don't do that with my shoes.
And that's crazy. But
put on slippers.
Put on slippers.
I got on Adidas slippers right now.
So you got some slides on.
Or you guys call it slides, and I call it slippers. I might be weird and American, that's why.
Yeah, that's you wear beanies.
These
and
are a couple years old. You know what I mean? I'm very old school. I mean, I don't even carry I have a phone with no numbers. I'm very old school. You know what I mean? Like,
kids, you got to talk to this guy, man. He's got some problems, man.
My agent's been trying to get me to get an iPhone for years, and I buy my wife iPhones, and she gives me her iPhone after she doesn't want it anymore.
He's different. Listen, Rashaun is very old. I mean, he
contact me on Instagram and Facebook, Rashaun Broadus.
At Rashaun Broadus. He's new to it. He's only on Facebook. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, the shoe thing is like proof of concept. You know what I mean? And I'm not totally serious with that, but fuckers, I do notice. And it's the same thing with, lacing up for basketball. Like, those guys will come up and don't lace up their shoes and shit like that, right? Yeah. I just think that speaks to your way of coaching, your way of thinking, and the way you craft your players into. I mean, for me, and maybe this is different for you, but for me, I want to put a stamp on my players, not in terms of I made them, but in terms of I fucking stand behind that person.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, and maybe that's a process. Like, maybe I don't stand behind that person right now, but I know that person's going to be, like, I'm going to support that person right now.
For sure.
But I know that by the time that person hits 21 or 22 or whatever it may be, 25, 30, like that's going to be a genuine human. And I want to put my stamp on that. And part of that is fucking lacing your shoes up.
Yep.
So lace your shoes up. That part of that is hitting a line.
For sure. Like Coach John Wooden, UCLA
legendary
Hall of Fame
UCLA
coach.
cut. That's because of him.
So my coach that coached me at St. John's, Newfoundland this past season, he was coached by him at UCLA. And then when I first met him, we're in the car. He picked. It was Halloween actually. We're going trick or treat, taking our kids trick or treating and stuff. Cute. So, we're having talks and everything about UCLA. He played with Reggie Miller back in the day. Oh, wow. Yeah, and Reggie Miller was his roommate, so they were both captains, of course, on the UCLA team. And then I heard a story about how Coach Wooden used to, the first practice of every team that he's had, he used to teach everybody how to put on their socks properly. Start from the tip of your toes, wiggle it all the way to the back, roll it all the way to the top, and then now you have a perfect sock or you have your sock on perfectly.
Oh yeah, no wrinkles.
No wrinkles, and you don't get any
blisters
on your feet. So his first
that's
practice,
a real thing.
It's a real thing. I seen it on like a 30 for 30 about Coach or something, and I asked him. I was like, Coach Dunlap. His name is Jeff Dunlap. I was like, Coach, is this story true? And it's like, yeah. 100% true. Yeah. My first time, or every year that I've been with Coach Wooden, the first day of practice, he teaches everybody how to put on their socks properly.
So don't come to practice saying you can't practice because you got blisters on your damn foot.
If you have blisters, you'll probably have to run suicides all day.
Yeah.
If you're coached by Coach Wooden anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's a real thing, basketball players out there. Listen, if you put on, Kobe's are the worst for this because they got that insole that just sticks to your sock.
Yeah.
You got to pull those motherfuckers up. Like, you really got to pull it up. And people don't like that these days because, the big socks used to be in style. They go like up your calf a little bit. And now it's kind of like the lower socks because the NBA's going that way. And people don't want to do that anymore. People get more blisters, man. I'm just saying, don't put yourself out of the game because you're trying to be cool.
I've had one blister in my life.
I've had many, so you know what? Whatever.
I have flat, fat paddle feet. So,
oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's probably the reason why my whole foot is touching the ground evenly. Ooh. So I've never had blisters. I don't have the calluses on the bottom of
Doesn't
my
that
feet.
give you knee problems though?
It's supposed to, because if you're flat-footed, most flat people get knee problems and everything like that. But I mean, I had knee surgery once, but it wasn't because of my feet.
Okay. Yeah. You got that Samoan genetics or something like that.
Yeah, it's probably just because I'm Samoan and I'm Polynesian. That's probably.
You bastard. It's a genetic lottery. Come on now. Get out of here. I wish I was there.
LeBron is a genetic lottery.
That's a good point. That's another conversation.
But I don't get blisters, so I'm lucky.
That's a good thing. That's a very, very good thing. I mean, there's guys that don't play because of blisters. That's a real thing. There's guys that don't play because of cramps, and that's just like prior preparation. Like, I always laugh in practices is kids like water breaks. You're hour and a half into practice, you're taking a water break. Like, water, it takes 20, 30 minutes to get in your system. Yeah. Like, if you're not hydrated by the time practice starts, you're screwed. Especially if I started practice with some, serious stuff, right? Like, you're hooped. So you going to take a water break in an hour and 30 minutes, like, I get it, you're tired, you want a breather, but like, oh, coach, I need some water. Bro, hydrate.
No, they're probably not eating right and they're drinking sodas all day. That's probably the reason why.
Okay, explain that to me. So we have all these AAU tournaments, right? All throughout the states, all these high school tournaments, whatever it is. All these kids, Zion Williams is freaking RJ Barrett. These guys are freaking eating whatever, because I see it on the Ball's Life mixtapes. They just pop soda can. I see it on the Snapchat. I see it everywhere. They're freaks of athletes. Can you explain that, please?
I mean, I was the same way when I was their age. I was drinking Capri Suns and juices before games and stuff like that. And then I also cramped a lot when I was younger too, being in the sun playing all day. But like, they'll learn. The older and older they get, they'll gradually, their bodies are going to start changing, and you can't eat and drink the same shit that you've been doing when you're younger. You know what I mean? So you start learning about nutrition and stuff when you get to university levels. So they'll learn, or their bodies will start changing. They'll start becoming fat or whatever the case may be. Everybody's
no one likes to be that. No one likes to have that transition where you're like, fuck, my metabolism's gone. It's slowing down, right? It's a tough situation to be.
You're not 15, 16 anymore. Your body will change, and whether you like it or not, if you're not taking care of yourself, it's
might not change for the better. I mean, like, look at LeBron, right? LeBron puts in $1 million. It was 1 million, 1.5 or something like that. Yeah. It was a Players Tribune. He said it was like I dedicate 1 million or so 1.5 million towards my body every year.
Well, that's why he's LeBron.
That's why he's LeBron James. That's why he's the best player in the world. That's also why he's playing for the best franchise ever, the Lakers now.
BBB.
What did you think about that move? You think that's a good move, going from Cleveland to the Lakers in free agency?
It's at a great time, because I mean, after this year especially, you got guys like Kawhi. His year's going to be over in Toronto, and then you got a few other guys that's getting into free agency. You never know what's going to happen. So, and then and
that young core.
They got a young core, and they're only getting better.
Kuz is something else. Josh Hart is something else.
Even Lonzo is.
Lonzo can something. I mean, I didn't mention Lonzo there because people know. People know Lonzo's something else. Like, that kid has vision.
I mean, 10, 8 and 7 or 7 and 7.
Get out of here.
His stat line as a
and
rookie.
he shot like shit from 3 too.
But so did Jason Kidd, and that's who they compare him to. He had a better rookie season than Jason Kidd. And he's the next Magic Johnson / Jason Kidd. I think he did well.
Yeah, I think he did amazing. I mean, put LeBron around all those guys. That's crazy.
And now he has LeBron on the team too.
But do you really think Kawhi's going to come?
For sure.
It's a rental?
Yeah, he's here.
Toronto's a rental.
Toronto's a rental.
For real?
He's here for a year and he's gone.
That's what they said about Paul George, though.
Yeah, Paul George is different, though. He's different. Kawhi, I think he's gone for sure.
Kawhi is pretty different too. Different is definitely a word I'd use to describe Kawhi. But
I think Paul can stay for the money.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I don't know if they can pay him in Toronto. I don't know. For me, Canadian teams, I lost hope, man. I don't know about all that. I'm a Raptor fan. You know, I'm a Kobe fan, a Laker fan, and a Raptor fan. That's about it. Nate Robinson fan, Isaiah Thomas fan. That's about it. I was a fan of a lot of stuff right there, but
I like that, Nate Robinson.
That's my guy for sure. You guys are around the same age.
We are the same age. I was actually ranked higher than him coming out of high school.
God damn, really?
Yeah.
Oh man, no way.
Yeah, I was 12th and he was 15th, 14th or 15th.
Damn.
On West Coast guards.
Yeah.
And then he ended up going to UW and became who he is. But
right.
I had shit grades and did what I did.
See, it was the grades right there. He was a dual sport athlete too.
Yeah, football too.
Yeah, that was some serious stuff right there. He's an athlete to this day. Why do you think he's not playing in the league?
Just situations, man. Like wrong time for him. If he didn't have such a great young career when he first got into the league, I think he could have switched over.
Yeah.
But since he was so successful playing basketball, why are you going to switch playing football unless you're Bo Jackson or something?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
it didn't work for Michael Jordan. I don't know if it's gonna work for you.
Yeah, he also won 3 championships before he did it too, though.
He's also Michael fucking Jordan, so it's a little bit different right there. And listen, all respect out to Nate Robinson. I love what he does, man. That's my favorite player growing up for sure, without a doubt. I mean, just hard over height was like that was my thing.
5'7".
5, yeah, 5'7", 5. Someone listened to me 5'10". I was like, get the hell out of here.
Nah.
Not even close, man.
Legit. He played with one of my old teammates, Logic Stewart, and he has a twin, Roderick Stewart. They all played at Rainier Beach together. Same
legendary
years.
high school. Yeah, Jamal Crawford too. Yeah. I mean, all those guys.
All around the same years, all those guys.
Freak athletes too.
Yeah.
Freak. I mean, I had a chance to meet him at Battle at the Border. We were in there. Met Nate Robb and Isaiah, all these guys or whatever, and it's just like super funny dude too. Like you never with the NBA, you never know with like what these guys are really like, because the media. I mean, everyone thought Lavar was a dick or whatever, right? So I mean, you never really know. That guy is hilarious. Just like he's one of an Energizer bunny, just can't stop yapping. He's talking to people on the side. He'll eat your fries. He'll come hang out with you. Like if he hit a shot. Seat right next to me, courtside is empty, and he just hits a shot. He sits down. He's like, "That was a good shot, right?" I was like, "Yeah. What about defense?" He's like, "Defense is nothing." Pops back up, whatever. But I wish he had a job in the league, man. That's too bad to see. Cause
yeah, well, he can play anywhere. He can go to Europe if he wanted to, but
yeah, he could. He's playing in the Big Three now.
Yeah,
he's killing in the Big Three. He's got such a big heart. I don't know, it's crazy. Yeah, but I'm sure you can relate to him just as an undersized guard coming up and all that. So
for sure,
it's hard life out there being an undersized guard in elite leagues. It's tough.
For sure,
it's tough. And even Isaiah too, like seeing his rise, it's crazy. 60th.
Last pick in the draft. And then the year that he came in, he was coming in with a lottery pick with Jimmer.
Yeah.
And took over at that spot where Jimmer started going down and Isaiah was going up. And it's just been going up for him, which is great.
Yeah. I mean,
really good.
If Isaiah Thomas can go from 60th to, second round,
almost max contract,
to MVP candidate carrying the league, and if Rashaun Broadus can go from a Calgary ranch shoveling shit to top leagues Euro Cup in Europe, then you know what? You can do it too. And that's our message, man. And lastly, Rashaun, like where can people find you on social media? I know you're old as hell, man. I know that like Instagram's new. Can we find you on Snapchat, or like do you have a phone number you give out, or like where can we find you? Where can we find pro prep basketball training?
Phone number to be determined. But you can find me at proprepbasketballtraining.com. And you can look me up on Facebook or on Instagram too at just my name, Rashaun Broadus. I keep it simple.
Awesome, I like it. And you can reach me at Joss Biggins on Instagram. And no, I'm not on Twitter. And get off me with that Snapchat stuff, man. I'm an old young person, man. And you can find Self-Hired, of course, at Self-Hired brand on Instagram and all social media platforms. So appreciate you.
Self-Hired, appreciate it.
Thank you. That's another one. We're out. Thank you.